people, Deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Thank you. That's more like it. Everything's going wrong in the intro, but nonetheless, people, Deluded, I'm back again. Good evening, everyone. Arsenal fans, you know what we did today? We kept a clean sheet. We got 3 points. Double M is what I call Mikel Merino, and I call him that for a reason. And he was at the double. He saved us. We nicked it in the last 10 minutes of the game, people. So yeah, we're in good spirits. I'm sure you lot have a lot to say on the game. Obviously, Mikel Merino, we got to ask the question, people. Is he the solution, at least until the season's over, to go up front? We're going to speak about Raheem Sterling, and I'm sure there's a bunch of things, man. Big up you lot. Smash the like button. Big up Hyper. Again, man of the match performance from you as always on the live streams, man. But yeah, now that we can kind of calm down, people, I've articulated my thoughts to the left of me, and I thought, let me just run through it with you lot. The first thing is Mr. Raheem Sterling. Like, that's the elephant in the room now. We won the whole Dubai trip. We all know the talking points from the summer and January and all the rhetoric that's been around our football club, right? And just because you lose doesn't mean you have to think about all the bad things. You can focus on the positives and vice versa, right? And I don't want it to lead us to some kind of scapegoating on Raheem Sterling, because, and stay with me and just hear me out. I know some of you don't want to waste time speaking about Sterling, people, but I don't think his performance was that bad. And trust me, I'm going to just let me get it all out, people. I don't think his performance across 90 minutes was that bad. Unfortunately for him, you know, and yeah, you could caveat that and say you haven't had a run of games and but life, just like football, very rarely gives you favorable conditions. You could argue when Saka came through the youth system, the team weren't in the right way. Obviously, within the season, shout out to Lewis Skelly and Ethan, but it's not an ideal way you want to see young players get into the fold, innit? And it's like with Raheem Sterling, it's not ideal how you're coming into the side, but the reality is our trophy hopes are bleak at best. There's so many injuries, pressure on the club, pressure on the manager. From a fan's perspective, we need results. Ethan is making that happen. Trossard and Sterling across 90 minutes, I don't feel there was much in it, but there's a key reason as to why Trossard stayed on the pitch, whether he's good or not. The manager has confidence in Trossard that he might, I'm not saying he stunk up the place, because, you know, I don't think that, but if he stinks up the place, you know, Trossard, one chance he might pull it away. Obviously, you know, he done well for the assist. Odegaard played a part. There was all other things, but Trossard got an assist at the end to kind of make sure we wrap up the 3 points. Ethan was consistently threatening throughout 90 minutes. He hit the post a couple times, looked like a live wire, obviously got an assist. So if it's a young player standing up to be counted, not in ideal conditions, or what is an experienced Premier League player in Trossard that has probably played a lot more minutes than you or Mikel Arteta probably himself would have factored in. So they've made the difference. They've made the difference. Sterling isn't doing that. That's why you've got hooked when really there's no players off the bench. You know, again, we'll get into the Moreno stuff. You have got the young Nathan on the bench. There is other things, but you saw the changes. And I'm not blaming Raheem Sterling, but you came off. We tweaked things. We got the win. So, yeah, I don't want to kick a man while they're down. You know, Sterling knows it's not working out. He knows that why he's only getting an opportunity. But at the end of the day, it's not good enough, is it really, man, Sterling? It's uninspiring. You look a bit better off the left. And I would, unfortunately for Raheem Sterling, as much as I like him, the best thing I can say about your time is that, fortunately, we're not stuck with you on a permanent basis. So, yeah, you could be the villain today, the hero tomorrow. Naturally, everyone is going to say, is Mikel Merino the solution up front? And the answer is yes. Everything is yes, in my opinion. There's sometimes we're going to have to run Mikel Merino up front. There's sometimes we're going to need a false nine. Maybe even a young player gets an opportunity. Maybe Mikel Merino plays up front, but he's not per se like a focal point. He's more dropping into midfield. We're going to have to play it by ear and take it game by game, in my opinion, of what's left of the season. We need a forward, you know. And I will say this right now, that looks like the solution. What if Mikel Merino starts? I think we got West Ham next Saturday, and he might not be having a bad game, but he's not doing the job. And you're going to need something else off the bench. So, yeah, of course, I'm going to, you know, make fun and call him, you know, I love his celebration, you know, Mikel Merino, double M. Somebody in the comments said, like, Robin Van Marino. I'm sure you've all seen, you know, the social media stuff going around, people editing his face onto Ronaldo, the Brazilian one, and the rest of it. And naturally, you know, people say, you know, naturally, is he our Fellaini? And probably it's not in a disingenuous way. You are really and truly. Why we don't have a forward at this football club? Why we didn't sign a forward in January or in the summer, one that we like? You lot can offer your thoughts, but that's for another day, man. But yeah, shout out Moreno, because again, like Sterling, he ain't really hit the ground running or done anything, people. So yeah, and on a serious note, we talk a lot at this football club. In fact, going back to Sterling, you know, I can't blame the final thing I'll say for Sterling is I can't blame fans when they're saying, you know what, can you get Zinchenko in the side? Can you find a way of having Lewis Skelly and Calafiori down that side? Can you play Tini? End of the day, we need results. We need players to stand up to be counted, and we're carrying Sterling. You know, the only game on paper you can't play Sterling is Chelsea, and you know, we hope a couple of players are back by then, if that. But you get the point. Now, when this euphoria and all of those things dies down of winning the game, people, for me, for me, I think we talk a lot about fine margins, right? And the fine margins worked for us. Again, I feel I can't really say we struggle to create chances because there's data that will shoot down that point. But in reality, with what we're watching, we'll knock it side to side on the best of days. We don't really go for the knockout blow on a consistent basis as much as fans would have liked, right? And obviously, that is made even harder because we don't have our first team players for whatever reason. That is it. So I feel that was always going to be an issue going into the game. I don't feel we really created much like that. Neither did Raya have much to do. There was a moment towards the end of the first half where Leicester looked like they might just nick one quickly and change the halftime team talks. But beyond that, it was a low-key affair, really and truly. I think there was 7 shots between both teams between both teams at goal. So it was a low-key affair. I think Leicester hung in there. You could argue on another day they deserved the draw. And yeah, man, at the end of the day, we just did what we needed to do, really. The fine margins worked out for us. And I can see Marcel's comment about it's only Leicester. And I don't want to be that guy. But your fan base is praising Curtis. Bearing in mind, we get told our players don't show enough passion, then they show passion. Your fan base are crying about Michael Oliver. Football is now seeing Michael Oliver for what he is, which is a great referee. I'm not here for that. I have seen, we can't celebrate an equalizer. We can't celebrate drawing if we, at a place we used to get battered if we're down to 10 men. We can't celebrate smashing Manchester City, who have been bullying this league 5-1. We can't celebrate against Leicester. We can't celebrate at all. But there's a big diagnosis when we take an L against Newcastle, or this happens or that happens. It is what it is in that regards, man. Your fan base is praising Curtis Jones for getting into argy bargy. Then we're told Lewis Skelly should be on the FBI wanted list for mocking Haaland's celebration. Allow it, man. Marcel, you're hating. But it is what it is, man. And like I said, there were 7 shots between both teams come the end of the game. At halftime, we had 4 shots, 1 on target. Leicester only had 1 and 1. So, yeah, we did what we needed to do. I guess on those margins, we nicked it. I do think Leicester can count themselves unlucky. And if Arsenal throw a game like that away, it is what it is. But, yeah, man, we take the 3 points. We knew realistically, no disrespect to Leicester, but we knew we'd win today. It was a lot harder than we would have thought. We knew we'd win today. We're just coming back from Dubai. Now, we got West Ham, we got Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, Southampton, the Champions League. There's many twists and turns. Reality, Arsenal fans, we just have to play this thing by ear now, innit? Like, we're at where we're at. It is what it is in what is left of this season. You got small hopes that, Liverpool, could gift us a trophy and whatnot. It's not going to happen, though. You absolutely live in a movie in that regards, people. So, yeah, man, it is what it is, man. What's the chat saying? Ethan, player of the match. Merino, moment of the match for the first goal and secured the win with the second. You know what? For me, it depends. You can't not say double M. Mikel Merino isn't the man of the match. He's come off the bench. For a guy that's really been struggling at Arsenal, had a good little moment for himself. If without his goals, we don't win. But you could say, Ethan, I think his performance across 90 minutes, he was alive, wide, hit the post a couple of times, all of that kind of stuff. I feel right now with Ethan, you're in the right place in that you're playing on the flanks. I still think there's a lot of gears he has to go up in his game if he's going to make a career of playing off in the 10 or in the 8. We need multifunctional players. That's a requirement in the game, and he can play in a bunch of roles, and he's taking his chance really and truly. And that left foot is dangerous. We got a lot of time for, and Lewis Skelly. Big up Lewis Skelly as well, because of naturally when Ethan is doing what he's doing in the attacking third, when Moreno's nicked the game, when even arguably Sterling's performance or lack of, some would say, is a talking point. I feel everybody forgets Lewis Skelly with that little interception, and it would have been a tap in for Reed. And I like that beyond the obvious, because obviously we got a clean sheet and we didn't concede. But if you go back to the Newcastle game where we went out, right, of course, Saliba, Gabriel, the whole back five, the whole team, it was a poor goal. I think whatever goal it was, I can't remember if it's the first or second, but they lumped it long. And Murphy ended up, it was great play from Gordon and Isaac, but Murphy's on the right-hand side, so Lewis Skelly's left. Now, everybody's done poorly, but if you go and watch that game again, yeah, as a defender, you got to follow your man at all times. And I don't think he was necessarily aware of Murphy. So I like the fact that I could argue you've watched the footage, you've learned in it, and yeah, pick up the young players, man. We did what needed to be done. There's many, man. I think Timber had a good performance. I think he had a very good performance. Naturally, you weren't tested that much, but yeah, it went on over the radar. Saliba and Gabriel doing what they needed to do, man. So yeah, should have earlier if was played. It's when we drop points as well. I'm not sure what you're saying there, my boy, but yeah, man. Would you play Sterling in the next match? West Ham. It depends, man. Oh, Lord. Yes and no. Yes, because maybe the manager wants to keep the element of bringing Moreno off the bench in that capacity. No, because I would be a bit reactionary, but I do want to see Mikel Merino. I do want him to start against West Ham. I'm probably going to change midweek, but yeah, play Mikel Merino through the middle. Obviously, Ethan on the right. Sorry, Trossard on the left. Maybe Sterling against tired legs. I don't know. You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if you start Mikel Merino and it's not quite happening, and Sterling comes off the bench and impacts the game, we're looking at it very differently. Just because of what I expect from West Ham, I'm even leaning, regardless of this, I expect them to be physical. It feels like one of them games we might need the focal point or someone in that regards. And I would go with Mikel Merino. And even that, like, you saw in the first half, maybe I'm making this up because at the end of the day, I don't work for Arsenal and stuff. But if you go and watch that first half again, mainly Odegaard, and I'd say Ethan on occasion, and the whole team, they kept trying to clip it over the top for Declan Rice to run into. So maybe Arteta wants to keep those elements going into it. And we did get 3 points. We did keep a clean sheet. It is what it is. And I'm happy Ben White's back. I don't know truly how much minutes Ben White's got. Like, he's been on the bench, makes up the numbers. Obviously, not saying it's a political game, and fans are going to change their thoughts because obviously there's been a lot of injuries and the depth is in question. But him on the bench means it's a tiny percentage is easier. Like, he's on the bench, people start talking about his fitness. I don't know how fit Ben White is. I did think he'd get literally a couple of minutes today. But obviously, he started training when we're back in Dubai. A week, I guess, is a long time in football. Extra week of training, and I don't think he's going to start against West Ham. But yeah, man, we need to see all our players back, man. So yeah, man. DG, do you think Merino has the stamina for the full 90 as a false nine? I mean, if you can play central midfield, well, a professional footballer anyways, and he might lack a bit of sharpness, but you ain't played that much. You can't say you've got minutes in the legs and stuff. Your season's been disjointed for injuries and for obvious reasons, not starting. But if you can play centre midfield, and I'm saying all this, yeah, you should be able to. But again, whether it's going to be effective for 90 minutes. And big up Mikel Merino on the finishes, the second finish. I was thinking, bloody hell, mate. As much as we scored 90 goals last year, and I'm sure statistically there's bare goals and there's bare positivity that you could say, it's always the unlikely ones that look the more clinical in front of goal, if I'm honest. I think it worked today because it was something new and different, but against better teams, not sure. Let's be honest, like, you're going to have to play it by ear, man. Gonna have to play that striker thing by ears. We're gonna different horses for courses, as they say. Light smash, carry on smashing the likes, people. Michael Oliver, quality referee, man. Quality ref, better than Nunes. Hey, Marcel, this guy is on a full-time trolling, man. Arsenal fans are the easiest fan base to get giddy and carried away. I don't know for Arsenal fans on the social medias, but anyone here, like, what you think? We think everything's gravy because we've gone 15 games without losing. I think that's the best kind of form at this point in whatever time. There's some statistics coming out. Moreno saved the day. We got 3 points. You think we don't know what's going on with our club? You think we're necessarily positive? Why can't we poke a little fun at Mikel Merino getting a brace, talking about him being a striker? Allow it, man. No, there's not a damn soul. Even the field tilt nerdy dons, there's not a single. So maybe the game's the game. Maybe I even make a video suggesting it with Mikel Merino, but I don't think anyone's suggesting that. We don't buy strikers. We make them. How about that? How about that? How about that? And I don't want to draw out any players, but hey, Mikel Merino got a brace. Certain players that are paid to score goals, the statistics are statisticking at this moment in time. It's looking fugazi for certain people. MLS was my man of the match. That last-minute interception was a key moment in the game. Shout out Moreno, shows you there's a player in there. I've been calling him the Spanish Giroud. I just think I need to see a bit more of a beast come out in him because he seemed. I'm not saying he's weak mentally, but he seems like one of them guys that just needs a bit of a confidence boost, like the kind of shy guy. And in the Prem, you can't do that. But had a good little moment. Other than that, do you know what? Ironically, yeah, one of the and obviously I couldn't predict this, but one of the times I thought this Moreno thing would kind of run at some point is, do you remember the Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge, where the outlook around our team was a lot different, but we were struggling really to create chances. If you remember when Moreno came off the bench and he was making those third man runs or those bursting runs into the box, we looked like we might score. So maybe Arteta's had that in the back of their mind. I mean, I'm not dissing Kai Havertz, and yeah, it weren't really, well, Moreno scored the goals, but it weren't a thing like his back's to goal, he's pinning off defenders, he's playing give and goals and spinning. It weren't really that kind of striking job or what Arteta demands from a striker on a consistent basis. And I'm not dissing Kai Havertz. You lot know everything, my thoughts in relation to him. But if I be devil's advocate, you see when people say we need a special striker and this and that, and I get it, in the modern day, the striker is the first defender. You got to work the channels, you got to drop deep, smash the like button. People, you got to do all of that stuff. But Moreno's gone up front and not done that stuff, but done that stuff. So how niche is it? And like, obviously, you can want certain strikers or whatever, but how niche is it? Because we saw someone just look a bit, do all of that, do a little cameo, a little 20 minutes of all of that stuff and just put the ball in the back in there. Ain't that what we want from a striker anyways? I don't know, man. Liverpool fans crying about Oliver just shows that they haven't been effed over that much. They can only refer to the Spurs game. I don't know. I'm not getting into the rest stuff. I didn't see it. I don't know anything about any other team. They will, they say shut up and get on with it. People, our fan base is always crying. And don't get twisted. A lot of Arsenal fans are like the boys and girls who cried wolf. But any team that's got anything to say about refs, safe. Forget it. Safe. Like, I ain't got nothing to say. That's your business. When we get shaken, nobody comes to rally behind the Arsenal fans. Going mad. You lot hold that, man. Hold that. I'm so interested how we fit Saka and Ethan in this squad. It's crazy, man. And Lewis Skelly and Ethan, obviously they're young. We have to, have a bit of common sense around them. But they've kind of aired the youngster thing now. You're part of the first team squad. Your age is irrelevant. Like, you're part of it. And on one hand, I would say, for beyond the obvious, it'd be nice to see Saka back because you got to remember, Ethan's 17. He had muscular injuries when the running was there. We got, he's a good player for the squad. Obviously, right now, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. And he's probably saved Arsenal some money. Like, are they going to sit there and say, we buy a left winger? Ethan's on the scene. We can rotate with him. He can get some goals. Saka can get some goals. Kai can get some goals. We'll go for a goal scoring inside forward. Or do they sign it? Like, where are they at with it, man? How much do you reckon he saved us? I'd rate Ethan at about 40, 50 million and counting and rising with every day. But at this moment, Lewis Skelly the same. So they've saved us some money there. It'd be interesting because I do want to see Saka and Ethan's link-up play. I do want to see Ethan long. I know Arteta said he can be a striker. Obviously, right-hand side, he's doing his thing. I think he could play on the left and he could play in the 10. But I do think right now, as a young player, getting minutes is first thing's vital. Out wide, you do get a bit more time on the ball, if I'm honest with you, and it teaches you the defensive aspect. Midfield is a different ball game, and I would say the Everton game when he was kind of playing a bit more centrally, he'll learn that with time. But yeah, long term, the man's an 8 or a 10, and we just got to take our time with it, man. But this is what I'm talking about. If you've got Saka, if you've got Ethan, summer you buy a striker, buy another winger that can play on the left. You've got Martinelli, Trossard, and Havertz. If their form's out this world, they're playing games. That's what it should be for everyone. But you've got them in the squad. Then you know what? Yeah, you do wonder. Like, I think whatever football team you support, it's very well clear. Yeah, they don't care. Like the higher powers that make the decisions in football, right? They don't care about the fans. They definitely don't care about us. They don't care. Yeah, people can sit there and say, "Oh, the players get paid a lot. There should be salary caps." We know logically, if a player is getting 500 grand a week, let's be ridiculous. If a club is paying someone 500,000 a week, yeah, somewhere or another, they're making pounds on his pennies. Like, footballers are guinea pigs. We all see at international level how many games there are, the fixture calendar list, the traveling, all of that kind of stuff. FIFA are not changing it. It's not in their interest to change it. It's only going to get worse. People need bigger squads. And naturally, I think every team, you can make a case. Liverpool need a bigger squad. We need a bigger squad. Spurs need a bigger squad. United probably as well, but theirs is more lack of quality. Chelsea are probably the one, maybe not quality, but in terms of depth, probably the one team that has got more bodies that they can count. Surely that means more academy players are gonna be in squads, especially for the Arsenals, the Man Uniteds, the Liverpools, the Chelseas, the Cities, the teams that Newcastle even coming into that conversation now as well, that are trying to compete in 3-4 comps. probably that's the only way around it. You just need a bigger squad. That like FIFA and the organization bodies, they don't care. They'll give you a little sweetener, into like a little break here and there, and they'll extend an olive branch, but they don't care. Players are running to the ground. For all clubs, players are just running to the ground. You're jetting off for preseason, and you know what? I always think about the English players, like the amount of games Saka and these guys get, or better yet, the European players like Rayo. Like I mentioned, Liverpool. What if you're Salah? Like your team's playing bare games, you're gonna almost play every game for your country. Plus, you're flying around. Because international break, there's that weird period in the international break where there might be international games on a Tuesday, Wednesday, but Saturday. So if you're playing somewhere in Africa or South America and you're coming into it off a congested schedule, like it's there, they don't care, man. You probably just need bigger squads. It's the only way around it, man. It really is concerning player welfare when you actually deep it and you look at the amount of injuries, whether it be ACLs. There's a wider discussion with ACLs in football, anyways. And I ain't got no evidence to support this, and maybe it's through my Arsenal lens. But it seems like some people, a lot more players are getting injured in training. That's one thing, especially around this time. I think that's one. And it seems like there's a lot of hamstring knocks. Now, maybe that's a given because of the climate, for reasons I've just mentioned. But I don't know, man. As for Sterling, I'd give him a run of games, in my opinion. I know he's awful, but we should see how he does when he's given consistent game time. He's going to get consistent game time. And yeah, you're not coming into this playing a bit of games, finding your feet. But at the end of the day, life isn't fair. If life was fair, we'd have a lot less. From a footballing sense, if life was fair and everyone's fit, at this moment in time, at this current climate, Sterling would have less minutes. Pardon me. So my point, once again, is unfortunately, we ain't got time for that. Like we hear all those nuances, but right now we're trying to keep bleak hopes alive. Man, just need to stand up to be counted. I'm not saying Sterling isn't trying and that, but we're looking under the lens of difference makers, right? Ethan, 90 minutes, obviously effective, got the assist. Trossard, who wasn't amazing, but wasn't terrible. I don't think it was that kind of game. Whether he's having a good game or not, one moment, bang, ball's in the back of the net via his assist. Whether you're playing great for like Ethan or you're not playing amazing like Trossard, but the manager knows your quality and he's betting more on Trossard than you. And that's not me trying to poke fun at Sterling. At the end of the day, it's a results-driven business. It's be useful or be useless. In that, unfortunately, Sterling, you was the common denominator. Can't take Ethan off. He's unless he's struggling physically, which he wasn't. For obvious reasons, can't take Trossard. You're the common denominator. Bring on Mikel Merino. The collective comes before the individual. Sterling can maybe feel unfortunate that he's been subbed, but at the end of the day, we got the 3 points. The majority is happy, and you know where it is peak. Like even going back to the Bournemouth game, where again the environment was different, but I'm sure there was a couple of I can't remember if there was injuries. I'm sure there was, and also Arteta unnecessarily rotated, right? But if you remember the Sterling got a rare start. Saliba's red card, you had to come off. So I do feel sorry for him in that regards, but I feel sorry for Arsenal fans. Like I feel like crying about January, about the summer, about how good we are, and we're still not getting over the line. Like again, I'm not gonna sit here. It's not amazing. I'm not happy to finish second and put pressure on and competitiveness as well. But the same nuance to that is, I just feel we even now we're still crying about the same things. But and again, I'm not saying this to make out we was amazing. The facts are we ain't lost in 15 games. We are one of the top goal scorers in the Prem. There are a lot of positive statistics, clean sheets. I think we could get more. I think we could score goals. Statistically, it's like I'm chatting nonsense. So my point of saying that is there's a base here. It's just about the fine margins and what we need to build upon. Because we know we're being competitive. But are we really? Like, we're flirting with the next level. But do we want to get the job done? Do we want to penetrate the next level? See what I did there? That's a summer thing, innit? And it is what it is. We just have to play it by ear, man. Like today, it's a good day. I don't know what tomorrow brings, man. But yeah, Sterling's gonna get games. At the end of the day, if you score a brace against West Ham, everybody's gassing it. With what 13 games left in the Prem, and I'm not saying we should sign Sterling or whatever, but you know how football works, and it's definitely a big if. If the next 5-6 games, especially towards the running of the season, if Sterling plays well and scores goals and he's out this world, the same people, including myself, that are saying, he's looking shaky, do we ask the question naturally what you do as football fans? Should we keep him permanently? That will definitely be a title. The game is the game. I'll definitely make a YouTube stream speaking about that, whether I agree with it or not. One game and you think they would just beat Prime Madrid in the Champions League final. Shouldn't you, be arguing with Everton fans, Marcel, or shouldn't you be focusing on Wolves? What's wrong with you, lot? This is an Arsenal channel. This is an Arsenal community. I'm talking amongst my people. Why are you so vexed? If you know that we're just mad men and women, stop listening to us now. Big up Marcel, man. You'd think he's a troll, though. He's actually part of the furniture. He's a hater, man. Not just left, though. He's got the right foot at 17 to have these fundamentals. It's crazy. What'd you say there, Neil? Fundamentals. Like, Ethan's got it all. The positives are now, all you need to do is just get up to speed tactically with what Arteta demands. Get that experience, speed of the game. Obviously, take things greater, but technically already. And more than anything, he looks confident, man. Like, also Lewis Skelly, like, they're not idiots. Like, they know the context is around the club, but they're at that stage. You're finally living your dream. Like, everything that these guys worked for, I assume they've been at Arsenal probably from under 6, under 7, seen friends released. You know, obviously the trials and tribulations of making it a Prem team. When you get to where they're at, whether you believe other players or not, from a political point of view, Lewis Skelly jumping into the team, you've got Calafiori signed for multi-millions. You got this one, that one, international level footballers. They're finally getting an opportunity, and in a nice way, it's just that I'm just excited to be here. I'm finally living my dream. I don't want it to stop. And it's one thing getting the chance. It's another thing giving the manager a reason to consistently start you. So big up the young G's, man. Big them up, man. Saliba was slight shaky first half. Can we promote a youth from the academy? Sterling is rubbed. To Gaffer don't want to do that, though. Big moment from MLS. Do you think he's the most natural replacement we have in the squad for Partey in the long-term 6? Well, naturally, I mean, you could say just put Rice over there without talking about that. Probably. It reminds me of a young Musa Dembele. The Fulham, ex-Fulham, we won't say his other club. Naturally, man, I would like to see Lewis Skelly play centre mid, even though he gets to anyways, but I don't think the gaffer's going to put him there anytime soon. And if he saw him as an out-and-out centre mid, like, if Arteta never thought to himself, let me play this guy inverted left back, he probably wouldn't get that much minutes at the moment, or wouldn't have played as much. So it's a good conversation, and we need, you know, it's one thing being able to play in bare positions, like not to get at Raheem Sterling or Kai Havertz. Say what you want about them, but they can play in a number of roles. They've done it for club and country, whether we agree with it or not. I've seen Germany play Kai Havertz left back. Arteta, I don't get any ideas, but he's spoken about him playing out wide. We've obviously seen him play up front. We've seen him play in midfield. Sterling can play in the 10. He can play on the left. He can play on the right. He can play as a false 9. So yeah, that is something in the modern day, and that's been there for probably 10 plus years, being able to play in other roles. It's one thing being able to do that on paper, like 2 of the names I said there. It's another thing to actually excel there. Like Lewis Skelly, you can excel in midfield. You can pattern at left back. Ethan, you can play in a bunch of roles. Obviously, Arteta don't get any ideas. I'm more than happy to see Saka play right wing, but he's played a number of roles. I'm sure against City many years ago, I saw Saka play centre mid, and maybe Wolves during lockdown. So the more positions you can play and affect the game, you're getting game time, man. And, you know, you look at how many players in our team can't really, well, in modern football, but a lot of guys in our team can play a couple of roles. Like, you're not going to see Saliba play right back, granted, or Gabriel Magalhaes play left back. David Raya, I think he would go for it. He'd go for it at play outfield. But Kivior can play left back and obviously centre back. White can play in a couple roles. Timber, Tomiyasu, Calafiori, Lewis Skelly, Ethan, obviously. Technically Odegaard, but we ain't really seen that in an Arsenal shirt, so disregard him. I mean, Tierney's played left wing. You could say him. You get the point, innit, Zinni? Hey, Zinni's stock has fallen. You like, we know it's fallen, but it's even more peak for Zinni because, like, we're down to our bare bones. And I was watching the game, yeah. Like, I was obviously doing a watch along with you lot, and I forgot he was here until the camera panned to him. I was like, I completely forgot about you. Maybe that's a good thing, according to some Arsenal fans, man. He didn't deserve that. Sterling is simply just a body. Bring him off the bench just to see out a game when someone is tired. I hear it. And right now it's a Merino thing, but like, we're past that stage. I must admit, Sterling, I'd rather, at this moment, I want you to turn it around and that you play for my team. Pause. I want to see Nathan or something, man. Like, it's because you know what you're getting with Sterling. Like, you know what you're getting, man. Still confused as to how we didn't look at Marmoush. He scored a hat trick today. I ate Ollie Watkins back there as well. He would have been a good signing. I think he missed a trick today. I think the solution is to keep Trossard wide left, and it has to be Sterling in the middle for West Ham. It depends how we're going to approach it, man. It really does. Oh, go away, mate. Go away. Big up. Hey, Unks, big up yourself. Big up American Gooner. Huge 3 points, man. There's bigger tests that I lie, man. It's mad. Good evening, everyone. Not good for the heart. To be fair, I was getting a bit nervous, but to be fair, I think I was, based on you lot, some of you were at the watch along, I think I was fairly composed today, man. A bit of blind optimism, but I thought we'd get it. I'm not going to sit here and say I thought we was going to nick it in the last 10 minutes, but I thought we'd win. I think it was one of the more calmer games. He can use Merino in midfield in a way like we used Havertz early on. Weak mentally, no, not at all. He's just a little slow. I just want him to show a bit more personality, man. But yeah, you know, whether it's Mikel Merino, whether it's Sterling, this is the game time. Like, if everyone was fit, arguably the ones that are starting and getting some minutes, you might have not had the minutes you've had up until this point of recent. Big up yourself, Mike. 65k, nice DG. Now, big up you lot. We're on the road to 70. Pleasantly surprised by the result today, not gonna lie. Big up Mick Merino and Ethan the Starboy. MK2 coming in to save the day, loving it. What more can I say with that, man? DG, people like you are level-headed and less deluded, but most of your fans online are the worst. I'd say you got to get off social sometimes, man. Like, social media or the internet, it's just extreme opinions, isn't it? Really and truly. Big up the chat. In my opinion, Odegaard is going through a phase where his game is changing to be more of a centre mid. Naturally, I think it's right. We'll need an actual 10 come summer, and now we can manage it. There's a shout with that, but I just wonder how much of a priority at the football club that is. I think you're right, yeah. But like that Nepan guy that we're linked with, he can play 10. Ethan can play 10. These lot are 17. They can, Odegaard can play there all the time. In the club's mind, he can play there all the time. Here and there, they can come in and kind of save his legs. So how much of a priority is that internally at the club? I'm with you, but in an ideal world, like, I want a striker, I want a left winger, I want another central midfielder. If Rice is going to continue as this 8, then let's go find the 6, innit? If you were to then further ask me, obviously, goalkeepers is a no-brainer. We're going to need a couple. We need a second and a third choice. I do think we could do with another versatile defender. And then for me, I might throw in the 10. But I can't see us having a winger, a striker, the options we've got already. Kai Havertz on top of that, who, whether we like it or not, can play in centre mid and whatnot. We do need a bigger squad, but I just don't think we operate like that. And I have said this before. Like, I mean, I do like Odegaard dropping in those deep rolls, like he did in the second half. I do think. Well, I used to say you'd rob him of goals and assists. That's not really been the case at the moment with Odegaard, as we could all see. But I think you give the team greater influence and impetus. Like, he's nowhere near Santi Cazorla in terms of running the game, and that would be my. If I could say something to Odegaard, I hear it. I know what the manager tells you to do. You've got the most important role. When everyone's fit, you're a danger man. I do think you need to find your shooting boots. But I'd say for me with Odegaard, I like him so much. I don't think he runs the game. And again, the manager's telling you to do one thing. The areas you're taking up, all of that stuff plays a part, right? But I don't think I see him run the game enough. Like, away from ability and the obvious, I've seen Kevin De Bruyne run games. I've seen Ozil run games. I've seen Santi run it. I've seen Odegaard, but I think he could do that on a more consistent basis. But then, does Arteta want Odegaard in the 8 or Odegaard in some sort of role next to Declan Rice, and then you've got another 10? Or does he go back to what he did a few years ago against Brighton, which I feel was a good idea, but at the wrong time for obvious reasons, as you're about to find out. He had Lokonga as the lone 6. I know. And he had 2 rotating 8, so Smith Rowe and Odegaard. It didn't work. But I always wonder would he go back to that at some point? Odegaard, I don't know, man. I think with Odegaard this season, not been bad, but in May, I would love for him to give an interview as to why you think, beyond the obvious, your form has been topsy-turvy this kind of season. And really, from the start of the season, I'm sure against Wolves, he missed the tap-in, man. I think has more precision than Kai, who would have likely missed one of those goals. I think the second one, and they're both left-footed. I think the second one, whichever one, yeah, it was the second one. It weren't the header. I don't think Kai, that side net is from Kai. I've seen Kai Havertz score a header. What would you lot say is the best goal you've seen from Kai Havertz in an Arsenal shirt? I asked this in my watch-along, and I should have done some homework, but I think Brighton at home this season. There might be one other little bad boy finish from Kai. I feel like he's had a good finish, another good finish somewhere. I don't know. I've been saying all season, once our defense and midfield stay fit this season, we're not out of it yet. We can get by. Yeah, but get by isn't going to get us over the line against Liverpool. And beyond the obvious, Liverpool are fly like this. If you know what, you not know me, I'm not one of them guys, but it's nothing to do with any pressure on Arsenal or Liverpool. But if I was FFG, which they're not footballing men, I might sack Arne Slot if they don't win the league. That's how much. Just because I think Liverpool players would actively have to try to F it up. Actively try to F it up. There's too much of a margin. It's harder to. It's harder to. It's too. Yeah, it's a madness, man. Do you think Ethan has earned the England call up with the attacking depth England have? I doubt it. Maybe under 21s. Surely he's in the under 21s. It might be a thing. You know, sometimes the young players they get called up just because Thomas Tuchel, as an international manager in Thomas Tuchel's case, I'm sure occasionally he can pop in at training and all of these things, but you're not seeing them up close and personal. Now, you don't need to see Ethan in training and whatnot to know he's a good player, but when you're in the professional game, it's different. So he might call him up, see what he's about, see what he's like up close and personal in training. But, you let him know that they're thinking of them, might get his cap and then continue his form, and you play it by ear in that regards. Or you see people get called up, play for England at senior level, and then drop into the 21s. I think Lewis Skelly at this moment in time, just because of what the outlook looks like for England, I think Lewis Skelly at this moment in time, if I had to bet money between Ethan and him to get called up, I think Miles Lewis Skelly is more likely to, man. It seems like you said, man, I would love to see all of the, well, definitely not in March because of this, but I'd love to see all the players that are eligible for England all in that squad, man. No one was more happy than me to see Smith Rowe and Saka link up, but yeah, man, you got a lot of competition on that right hand side and a lot of attackers. Left back kind of feels like fair game, really, because how many left backs are there? No one forced that agenda with Saka at fullback, but Lewis Hall's done all right, done well this year. Lewis Skelly, as I said, done well. It's them too. Chilwell's gone on loan to Crystal Palace, and that's Thomas Tuchel's man. That could play a factor. Luke Shaw can't stay fit, but he's played for England at international level. You could fancy your chances. I might be missing out one or two other players. Martinelli should sit back next game. Martinelli's going to have to. Is he back anytime soon? We should have kept Mikel Merino. He scored another hat. Smith Rowe scored. Mikel Merino scored. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I did say in the summer, I'm not going to argue with the club because it was Stoodgrass's record acquisition, and we did have a sell-on clause, so we ate from the Monaco move. But I did feel in Mikel Merino's situation, and I said it in the summer, I feel he's one that I'm not saying to necessarily play him. I just feel we sold him too early. I think it sounds bad, man, but from a club's point of view, sell him a bit of a dream, sign a new contract, go do your thing on loan or whatever. Obviously, if he was on loan to Stoodgrass or Monaco now, we'd have had the conversation in January about potentially recalling him, right? But if he done what he's doing, you can make a lot more money. He's doing well. And again, if he continues it, Monaco are going to make some level of profit in that regard. At this point, Arteta should give an academy player a chance over Sterling. All right, keep it friendly in the chat, man. Come on, guys, man. Hamstrings is definitely to do with flying. Also, not doing enough strength and conditioning, like Arteta said in his Friday press conference. I think that's more of a case. It's more recovery and all of that kind of stuff at this moment. And we have a depleted squad, so you're running players down essentially, man. Said it before, and you just mentioned it. Player wages will always make players' welfare convo a non-starter to the general public. Exactly. Players are like, it is what it is. All I can say to players is just try your best to look after your recovery. I can never tell a player like you can't play for your country and this, that, and the other. But if you're, I don't know, the Mo Salahs, the Sakas, like the guys that are fairly established, can you be a bit cute and clever? You know that that's a dead rubber international game. It's not even a qualifier. It's, oh no, England versus Brazil, just trying to make some money off in Wembley. Can you pull out of that? Because you got to look after yourself. Because could you argue players are going to start to retire a lot earlier now? Like, well, you kind of see that anyways. But typically, well, you also are seeing players play a lot later. Vardy's still going. There's plenty of examples. But you're seeing the hamstring injuries. You're seeing you're playing arguably 70 times a season between club and country. You're getting ran into you don't really have that much time to recover mentally. And even during the summer, like how long do you really get off for pre-season? Because you don't really get pre-season off. Like you can, like if you're a footballer in May or June or whatever comes and you're relaxing and whatnot, yeah, you can go on holiday. I'm sure you can relax. You cannot do anything. But all of these players want to hit the ground running in pre-season. And they're going to be training and that anyways. Because the reality is, even when you're supposed to rest, if you rest, pre-season, you're going to be off a backdrop, and especially in today's day and age with nutrition and fitness and all of that kind of stuff. And I can't remember who said it, but I was watching a football documentary, and I think for the life of me, I can't remember, but I think it was an ex-England player, and they were like, one of the worst times to get an injury or to be playing catch up in any way is pre-season, because they said like your form might be good, and to the face of it, we might say, I don't know, Declan Rice is playing better than Merino, but Declan Rice might be behind and he doesn't quite feel he's at the same fitness level. So you're essentially playing catch up. So rest is a myth. Like, it's all a myth. And like you said, you talk about the money. Personally, I feel like in life, the general public can be stupid and lack critical thinking, but also a part of it is, obviously, we're not in touch with footballers, but we see footballers come from like football. They come from, well, the majority come from not, lower and middle class kind of families and things of that ilk. And they're always on TV. We don't know the fat cats that own these football clubs, and this one that might not own the football club but is a chairman, and these ones make the TV rights. They got mansions in the Caribbean and whatnot. They probably don't even know what's going on. They're just getting the green. If anyone deserves the money, it's football, because you could say, football, there's too much money in the game, but at the end of the day, demand, we all know, simple economics, demand drives it. There's got to be a reason they can charge these things and people are willing to pay it. But the fans and the players, we're in the grand scheme of things, we're at the bottom, but we're the most important people. If fans stop going to games, watching, investing in football and buying merch and all the other ways, they're not making no money. No, if nobody's going into if no one's going into any stadiums, they're not making no money. It's dead. No one's watching the TV and whatnot. Obviously, the players, if every player in every team in the Premier League just said, we're not playing no more, it doesn't matter how much banter me and Marcel are going to throw at each other. Like, we're not watching our team. So if anyone deserves the peas, it's them in that regards, man. Beref, 7 goals in 5 games for Monaco. 2 hat-tricks would be a nice option to have right now. It's true. This adversity has made a men out of boys. Fair enough. Brother, we don't have time to babysit players. Look at Lewis Skelly and Ethan. They were brought into the first team because they were ready for that. That's why Smith Rowe was sold, to make way for Ethan and Lewis Skelly. And time waits for no one, man. I personally think Arsenal would have kept Smith Rowe if he didn't. I think Smith Rowe forced through his move, rightly so. He's playing a lot more. But you are right, man. Everyone's case is different, but it's sink or swim. And more than anything, it's the mentality between Lewis Skelly and Ethan. Like, they're just with it. Like, either you're with it or you're not. Big up yourself, my dude. Arteta hit the ground running at Arsenal. What else are you lot saying? Sterling is sad to watch. It is sad. Your channel needs to be bigger. You lot need to smash the like button. We're going to get there one day, man. Why would I be vexed when I'm sitting top of the league? Because you're still talking about us, geezer. Arteta has to be held accountable for having to loan Neto and Sterling this season. If we had the option, we could have brought 2 loan signings in the January transfer window. Fair enough, Graham, man. Big up the mods. Yeah, I guess so. As Harry Simu said, I just think it's a case of, he put it in the best way. It's a crime scene and there's multiple suspects' fingerprints there, in it. Like, we don't know. We'll never know if Arteta was suggested targets. And despite the backdrop of having no players, he in his mind, you're not the guys for me. I'd rather nothing then. Or if Arteta was begging and people were saying certain other things, we'll never know. We're all in it together, man. That's how I look at it. Because if you go and play a blinder in the summer market in January, if you did something unbelievable, everyone would get, for me anyways, like whether it be Jason Ito or Arteta, the owners, I have to take my hat off, innit? Question, DG. We just need to keep there until Saka and Martinelli come back. Easier said than done, but yeah. But even I'm more optimistic on Martinelli. Naturally, Saka's been out longer. I actually think Martinelli could be back for, hot take, and I was wrong with my last hot take. I think he's back for Nottingham Forest in some capacity. Saka, I'll be lucky to see you in April, innit? DJ, I know you watch the Haylenders more than certain creators in YouTube space, but what's the potential lack of the striker Arteta called up? Which one are you? Who are you referring to? Nathan. He's a bit more experienced. I personally think Nathan's not going to make the grade here purely because you're 22 now. You're not good. They come off the bench. Unfortunately, you need to go elsewhere, man. Of course. When you've got Ethan and Miles Lewis Skelly and the Dolmans, they're of another level. I do like Andre in the youth side, starting to play for the 21s despite being eligible for the 18s. But again, got to take your time with it, man. If you want this manager to stay and be successful, there are flaws in his game he must solve ASAP, ideally. No man is without faults. So, yeah, you're right. Chances of Liverpool dropping points against Wolves. I hope the footballing gods, it's the hope that kills, but I sure would like a bit of hope, man. It'd be nice if Wolves could do it. I think Wolves are going to get blitzed. I know a lot's being said of Liverpool going out in the FA Cup. I'm sure Liverpool fans aren't happy to go out the FA Cup, but if there was one, you can't win them all. It was a rotated side, yada 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 kind of thing. But they did go out. They drew against Everton. I think they're going to be angry. They're playing at Anfield as well, which you're already on the back foot playing at Anfield, unless you're obviously Liverpool in it. I'd love for Wolves to do. I'd love for Cunha to do something crazy, but yeah, I think Wolves are going to get smashed in, man. Of course, I hope I'm wrong. But I think it's light work. I'll be real. I think it's light work for them. Let's get DG to 70k. Be a dream, mate. That goal was going to come before the end of the game. Glad we won. Amen, man. Enough defenders. We need a wing and a striker bad. We need all of it. But again, you've seen the injuries. I just think we could do with one more. Need to jump back on DG watch-alongs. I'm usually on them in the early morning hours in pre-season. I'll be on the next one. Mr. Decent Commentary. Had enough of Gary Nev. Appreciate you, man. Happy to have you back, man. Gary Neville was saying he would have loved to have supported Arsenal the other day. Liverpool dropping points to Villa. Oh no, man, because one thing I can say about Liverpool, yeah, they've crumbled at times and people could laugh at them, but they normally stand up tall in these moments, man. Realistically, I say it all the time, the only people that can defeat Liverpool at this moment in time are themselves, which I don't think is going to be the case. If Arsenal and them players believe they've won it, then even then you still have to drop bare points, but it's Liverpool against themselves. It really is. This is why our fans try to say Odegaard is better than Ozil. I can't agree. Still has more gears to go up. Liverpool won't be where they are this season, next season. This is a fluke season for them. Arsenal City be much stronger than next season. Who knows, man? Who knows? But even if that is the case and they grab the cup, tomorrow's problems are tomorrow's problems. It's etched in stone you've won the Prem. Because whether it was a fluke season in 2022-23 with us, this following season, which was last year, we're going to fall off. Everyone else is going to get better, which we're not going to get better in some sort of metric. Fair enough. We still didn't win the league. This year really is kind of been the deadest kind of title challenge, really. Isn't at least 2022-23, we didn't expect it. Last year, we were so firm and solid defensive. There's been some good isolated moments this season, but on the face of it, nah. It's nice to smash up the top 6, though. Appreciate that, man. Congrats on 65k. Deluded, well-deserved. Onwards and upwards, my bro. You know the vibes. 2 goals against Chelsea. Hey, to be fair, he did score some good finishes against Chelsea. The Brentford winner. You could say that. Big up, Deluded. Can we get a whoa Mikel Merino chart for you? Been stuck in my head all day. Allow me. That one from Chelsea last year, pass from Odegaard. Do you know what? I'll say the best action I've seen from Kai Havertz in an Arsenal shirt. I think that assist for Bukayo Saka in the North London derby, I was like, Kai, is that you, Kai? If that was Odegaard, I'd have been waffling still to this day. Havertz's best goal was against Burnley. The nutmeg through the defender's leg and a tidy finish on his right foot. Decent goal. Kai does score some big up Kai, but his goals are ugly, innit? Our goals are goal, don't get it twisted, but he scored some ugly goals, innit? Really. There's some ugly finishes from Kai, but shout out Kai, man. We need him back. That pass from Odegaard and the turn shot thing he did against Chelsea. I think it's mainly because Odegaard is way more better. Odegaard is way more better creatively from deep than further forward. Too many times I've seen once he starts to pick the play from deeper, it gets peak for others. I want Odegaard to play slightly deeper, man, but it goes back to what you said. Like, we probably need to get another guy in that role before we start flirting with moving Odegaard. I don't think obviously, across a season, you can try different things, but I think Odegaard's going to somewhat still operate in the zones he operates. Obviously, Declan Rice, I actually think Declan Rice is the 8 now. I don't think we're going to see him as a 6 per se on a consistent basis. So it's like you got 2 pieces to the 3-man midfield puzzle kind of sorted. I don't want Ethan and Lewis Skelly getting called up. Arteta has to protect them. It's true, but what protecting can you do? You're playing games. I'm sure that you're playing games, innit? If you're playing games and doing well and you're getting called up for the country, like, what can you do? You should be in the setup. Kai Havertz's best goal is any goal because he actually finished. That's not nice. DJ, unlike some, I don't trust the Cronkies. You're not alone, brother. Merino will do well at striker because he won't be emotionally X'd if things go wrong. He'll just do a job. Look at his goal today. We can all say it's simple stuff, but he seems to have the IQ to do that. It's true. But then there's also been times, where, like, I remember, I hate reminding us Arsenal fans about Newcastle, but do you remember Newcastle in the league at their place? He did have there has been occasions where Moreno probably needs to do better in front of goal, even though we know he's not an out-and-out striker. But confidence is a thing, man. At this moment in time, yeah, momentum is your best friend in football. Like, I'm not saying it's just down to momentum, but look at Forest, like on it every week. To a degree, Liverpool as well, because Liverpool have blitzed teams, of course. They've nicked results. They're doing what they're doing. Like, momentum is your strongest form, and I think for me, I think we need that more than ever. Obviously, with what we know what's going on, I think we need it, man. I think like with Ethan and Lewis Kelly, they're playing out their skins every week. Obviously, nobody here expects them at 17, 18. They're going to have great games for the rest of their career and all of that. That's not how football works, isn't it? It's not how it works. But we just need momentum. If Trossard can find his feet, if Lewis Kelly can continue doing what he's doing, Ethan the same. You know, if Mikel Merino goes and scores again, we just need to play on these purple patches, man. We ain't got much options. Merino has good movement compared with Havertz. To be fair, Havertz is moving. I think Havertz is an intelligent player. I just don't think you should be playing like leading the line. I just think a team that wants to win a league isn't serious if Kai Havertz is one of your more consistent attackers and one of your top goal scorers. I don't think Kai's pretty on the ball. I think his strengths are actually off the ball. I don't think we should have bought Kai Havertz, but from where we're at now, we can't go back in time. I think there's a role here for you. I just think we need to upgrade. You can be part of the squad. And I don't think you're pretty on the ball. I definitely don't. I don't think Kai does anything pretty in it, but that's all subjective. Actually, I think that's harsh. I think his movement's good. I think it's just putting the ball in the back of the net and looking a bit more polished. I think if anything, Kai's moving. Like, Kai's quite intelligent. Just because I don't think you're the guy for us like that. I don't have to be disingenuous, man. I'm so glad we're not doing the FIFA Club World Cup this summer. Even that's the next thing as well. Like, going back to what we was talking about player welfare. You got the Mad Club World Cup now. You know, you've got an expanded Champions League with more games. You've got better things going on, and it's only gonna get worse. These lot only see dollar signs. This club has not changed. Still same KSE. That's under Latavenga. Two or maybe 3 runners-up medals mean F4. Now that Moreno's played false 9, we can say how rubbish Kai is. No one can make excuses for him. Moreno made very intelligent movements all the time and was always in the area in the box to be a threat. I hear that, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but we all know how the talk goes if Moreno plays on a consistent basis. I think you lot are harsh. I just think Kai, you can't put the ball in the back of the net on a consistent basis, and I just think you're ugly to watch. But I wouldn't call Kai rubbish. I think that's cap a bit. Not a difference, man. I wouldn't call him crap. I can't lie. Kind of sad seeing Sterling look this bad. But was he dead today though? Yeah, he was dead. I agree with everything people are saying. Sterling's not cutting the mustard. It's another game where the expectations for Sterling are on the floor, but we're still disappointed. Beyond the obvious frustration, it weren't a game like he was terrible. Like, get him off. Like, he's controlling the ball. He's hitting his shin pad. It's just more of the same, man. Like, and then he did frustrate in the second half. Like, Moreno didn't have a preseason and got injured. Give him time. It's an entertainment business. All sports are big money for that reason. Amen. Look at the Indian Premier League. Only happens due to money and buzz. Olympics worth billions every year is what it is. Facts. Smith Rowe scored today for Fulham. He's doing okay. There should get an England call up. Nice to see he's fit. Ethan is incredible, mate. Sterling should call himself Euros. He's playing foreign from its peak. Sterling Forex. I wish I could back you, man. Sterling told us we haven't seen the best of him. We were sold a dream of redemption. We sold ourselves a dream. It's like we put a pound, fans, forget the club, because we know we shouldn't have got Sterling, but it's like we put a pound in the machine and we know we're going to lose before he's going to win. We like anyone, and I'd make the Sterling's a yard man. He's a cultured player. We know I was treated in the press. He's someone that everybody want to do all of that. It is better than nothing, but we sold ourselves. Well, some of you try to sell me the dream of, Mikel Arteta can get a tune out of him, produced his best form at City with Arteta, and a lot of that's true, but we knew in reality he's dead. We knew it. And yeah, the injuries are one thing, and no disrespect to Sterling, but the manager don't trust you. It's a relationship of convenience. I know you're a good lad. I know you're not a disruptive figure. Whatever they tried to do in the summer, it couldn't happen. It's Sterling or nothing. And the last 2 windows, we fumbled, man. Shouldn't have, the only thing is we ain't got Sterling properly. No buyback clause on Smith Rowe. Come on now, let's not try to talk up Ethan to talk down Saka. What did I do? Me? I didn't do that. Apologies if it sounds like I said that. I didn't say that. DG, have you heard the rumors Qatar buying / investing in Spurs? I don't think I can. That's my biggest fear. God, please let me die. I live a long life and die watching Arsenal winning the Champions League and Spurs never winning the Premier. If they get that Saudi money, it's a madness. It's a madness. Anyone from Saudi Arabia and them kind of money man sides, if you want to invest in North London, you know who you need to offer. I don't know it's a tough bargain against Stan Kroenke, but you know where you need to go. Is Levy selling though? Hope not. Premier League is nothing compared to the NFL and NBA, whose contracts the players are on. All about odds and sponsors and merchandise. That's why American owners are here as well. Gakpo is injured, DG. Also, Moyes gave teams the blueprint on how to frustrate Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool have been perfect this season. I think Liverpool have been up here. Everyone else is down there. And that's what helps them, like, if I'm honest with you. And that's not a slight on Liverpool. I think they were fortunate to get a point at the Emirates. We shot ourselves in the foot. I think they were very fortunate to win to beat Brentford. Or whatever. Yeah, they nicked it against Brentford. And I don't think they were necessarily that amazing against Bournemouth, but they won. And what I've seen from Liverpool this season is they can play multiple ways. They can play you off the park. They can get results when they're not. They can win when they're not playing well. They can get something when they've been indifferent. Even like I think we should have beat them at the Emirates. I think Liverpool fans, players, let alone fans, they'll be vexed that they lost. They dropped points against Everton, but they still left with something. It might not have been with what they wanted, but they still left with points. Had they have lost to Everton, lost to us. And something, again, we can see why there's fine margins. Liverpool win that comfortably. Let's not get silly. I do expect Liverpool to drop points this season, but we need them to drop a lot of points, and Arsenal can't afford to drop points. I know mathematically and the way it works out, you can, but at this moment in time, the only thing we know is if we win all our remaining games, that's the only controllable we can control. With all the other noise. So yeah, you lot can do the copium, but I'm not on it. I can't lie. Chat, Semenyo, and Nico Williams. Rah, the host got left out. Damn, I never got asked. Semenyo and Nico Williams. You know what? Statistically, Semenyo's playing wavier, but you know what? Bring Nico Williams, man. It's wavy foreign stuff. Ethan could really become our false nine given a few years. Saka is too good on that right wing, though. I think Ethan will end up in midfield. But it's good competition. It's good conversations. It's lit, man. This is what we need. I'm one step closer to seeing my dream of 11 Hayland players starting a game for Arsenal. I'm not stupid. I know that's never going to happen, but that's what I want to see. And you know what? Yeah, it would have been nice if Eddie Nketiah really was the guy to wear the 14 shirt. If Smith Rowe, we didn't end up selling him and whatever left with him. Saka does his thing. Ethan and Lewis Skelly come on the scene. Ainsley Maitland-Niles behave himself. It would have been nice to have like bare academy players, man. I don't mind having a problem of how to fit both Ethan and Saka in the same team. Fantastic problem to have. There you have it. Like, he's better deeper because he takes too many touches. I just need Odegaard to be a bit more of a killer, Honestly, Moreno just bags like McTominay. I would take it for the time being. Amen. McTominay, every week you go watch Italian highlights, he's bagging. To be fair, he used to be a forward. Our team is in good hands in the next few years. Dolman, Ethan, and hopefully that Napanyu and our midfield is set for years to come. We'll have to see where he's concerned, man. It seems like I think he knows where he's going in the summer. I think obviously he could have joined in Jan, but I think him and his dad, they visited all the clubs. They've obviously gone back, assessing their options. I don't know if I was him, if I would make the move to Arsenal. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not slighting our club. Like, you've got you're not only moving to England, a new country and a new team, but you've got a fellow countryman who's the captain, like Odegaard. He can do the big bro thing, which, to be fair, we hear Sterling does that with Ethan. You can do that. We all know how Arsenal are around young players. Whether they can criticize Arteta and say he doesn't give young players a chance. Facts are, Odegaard was the one that, Odegaard found a home at the Emirates. Saliba went on 1-2 loans and now he's flying. Gabriel Magalhaes was here at 22 and now at 27. I know time flies, isn't it? It's mad to say Gabriel Magalhaes is 27, developing. People can say what they want about Arteta and Saka. Saka's had his best seasons under Mikel Arteta. Smith Rowe had his little decent year. Martinelli is a far cry away, but you've had your only significant standout season to date under Mikel Arteta, in 2022-23. So you can say, yeah, I see what you're doing for young players. And the squad isn't the biggest. But if I was him, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the right thing. Do you go to, I don't know, like, I'm just saying random clubs like a Dortmund, a Anderlecht, a Leipzig, them kind of clubs that act like the intermediate step. You learn your craft, you get game time. And then, I don't know, the Arsenals, the Liverpools, the Cities, this one, that one, and the third. Like, we also heard Girona was linked with him. Now, we all know that's a Buki one. Yeah, Girona's trying to buy you. The same team that's part of the same City group. You get it. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to think, you know, yeah, you go Girona, sunny Spain. We hear you're a technical footballer. La Liga suited to all of that. Go there. If you show your levels, you know where he's going to end up. I just hope Arteta doesn't think the striker's sorted. Arteta, you can criticize him. He's not an idiot, man. Mate, he's a backup midfielder and you think he's going to have pressure to perform at 9. None of the players will put any pressure on him. What did I say about pressure? I like Kai. His issue isn't him being a striker. It's that he's the main one. He shouldn't be, and that's not on him. There you have it. There you have it. I just don't think Kai was what we needed. And it's more, Kai is more a question on Mikel Arteta and whoever signed him. I think you've done all right. Like, you found a role for yourself in the side. It's just not solved anything. You've definitely solved things in a sense that you've pulled your weight, you've been the striker, all of that, but it's not solved anything. If you know you've got 100 games in a season, you prepare yourself. Paid to be in all comps and 19. Squad is preparation for failure. Kai Havertz has been so inconsistent. I disagree because I think with Kai, you got to accept him for what he is. Not the prettiest on the ball. Not going to be that clinical. Is a fighter, is a warrior, is going to pull his weight. In this current landscape of Arsenal, rightly or wrongly, and again, it probably tells you why we're at where we're at. If I say he's one of our more consistent attackers and one of the first names I feel at this moment in time on the team sheet. These are not Kai Havertz's issues. Obviously, constructive criticism and all of that kind of jazz. We know what Kai's good at. We know when he's going to have a stinker. We know he's limited in a sense. And we know that he's never going to be the answer to anything. Unless he looks like a Robin Van Persie or he turns into Schweinsteiger in midfield, it's not going to be that. We're at where we're at. I think his signing, I don't think Kai Havertz individually signing for Arsenal has been him. I don't think it's been a failure for you. I do think it's been a failure on the club because, yeah, like you didn't mean to even play him. Obviously, they knew he could play up front, but the plan was in midfield. And I feel like we played Burnley at the start of 2024. Gabriel Jesus was injured. He came in and he's been up front ever since, man. It's an interesting one. Kai is underrated. If he can improve his finishing, he'd be a great player. Also, people forget his teamwork is unreal. Enzo, I'm not saying you're wrong here, but no disrespect to Kai Havertz. I just think anyone that's played Sunday League, I always say this. If I've got two friends, let's call one Steven and one Alfie. If Enzo says to me, oh, have you got any ballers? I describe two centre mids or two strikers, whatever to you. I say, what was the first name I said? I said, Alfie. You asked me what he's like. Alfie, you couldn't get the ball off him in a phone box. He's a Bobby Dazzler. He's quality. He's got a wonder of a left foot. And I think I said Steve. If you ask me and say, yo, DD, what do you like? What's Steve like as a footballer? He puts his shift in. He works hard. Now, I'm not downgrading that. But come on, man. Once you start talking about work rate, which should be a given anyways, it's scary. It's very scary. And anything can happen. But I think considering Kai is he's been around for a while. He's 25 now, X amount of games for Chelsea, for Arsenal, played in Champions League, won Champions League, played for Leverkusen, played for his country, played in tournaments. Don't know how many career games he's got, and anything can change. But if you're not clinical now, or your finishing isn't of a suitable level now, you're never going to be that guy, innit? Really, you're 25. You kind of have to accept you for what you are. And in a nice way, I just think Kai's a bit of a jack of all trades, not really a master of none, a bit of a Swiss Army knife, which is why I feel we've got ourselves to this point now. There's no point waffling about selling Kai and all of that. You could be there. There's a role for you in the squad. I just don't feel, which, you know, if we looked in August, which is the case, if we looked in August over that 38 game calendar, assuming everything was going to go to plan and there was no injuries, Kai Havertz is going to play up front more than all the other options up there, rightly or wrongly. And I think that is on Arsenal. He's not picking himself, didn't buy himself, plays no plan directly in how we assemble the squad. Sterling just looks like didn't look like he knows football. But was offside. Yeah, that was peeing me off in the second half with Sterling, man. Forever offside. If Havertz is so bad, why are our little baby fanboys so worried now with him not playing? growing up is hard. And that's the thing, man. It's a good point. Good point. I don't need to react to that. No, he's dead. Just look at the players' reactions / body language when he loses the ball. Nobody rates Sterling, but our players have lovely personalities and have welcomed him into our club and embraced him, as you should, really. DG, how would Kai Havertz be under Arsene Wenger in your opinion? Today, the Kai Havertz of today, I just think we'd have the same issues. The Kai Havertz I was coming through at Leverkusen, based on what you look like, I think the possibilities could have been endless. Sterling was a PR signing because he's from London. Nah, I wouldn't say a PR signing. I think we have to cover our back somehow. We've made a mess of Nico Williams, Sesko, whatever they tried to do in the attacking sense. Sterling's got 1 foot out the door. Chelsea are begging for him to go. It's either this or nothing on deadline day, man. Pardon me. Sterling looked very mediocre today, but the 1 out of 10 ratings are harsh. He worked hard, played his role in the match in so much as it was 0-0 when he went off. Yeah, I don't think it was a that thing, man. No, not you, DG. Someone in the chat said Ethan will play Saka. But, hey, good conversations to have, but I don't think that's the case. He got in some good positions and had no one there to target. A similar problem that affected Ethan until Merino came on. Do you know what was kind of mad? When we did kind of cross it in the first half, yeah, I think someone commented it, and it's like, sometimes, 9 times out of 10 we're crossing the ball anyways, but sometimes we've had Kai Havertz in the box and we don't want to cross it. You've got all the more smaller attackers on the pitch. And apart from Declan Rice running in there, we're still crossing it. I think I'll stop watching football if them man become City. It would test my love for the sport. Kai is only inconsistent in the finishing front. The rest he performs at an extremely high level. I'm not even watering him down yet, but you should be doing that, surely. Like, you should be that. You're a German international. You've won a Champions League. You played for, I don't want to praise Chelsea, but you played for a big team. Had a big tag at Leverkusen. Doing your thing at Arsenal to a degree. Like, for someone like that, I'm not here to defend Kai Havertz, but for someone that was, before he kicked the ball, you saw the posts in the summer, like flop of the season, and don't get twisted, like he probably would have been the bookie's favourite. But for all of that talk around flop of the season when he signed and half of the names that are next to him, he's done a lot better. I don't think we should have signed him. I think Kai can be a squad player. He can't play week in, week out and be, unless you see the Kai Havertz that popped up in the second half of last season, and you, as like I said, you've played your way into the team. I feel you're a support act. You can't be the main guy, man. And I'm not being harsh, but again, you name Arsenal strong. I say it all the time. You name Arsenal's strongest 11. All of you people, just think of your strongest 11. I think we'd all agree Rice in goal. We'll agree on the centre half, surely. We know Saka's in there. We know Rice is in there. Odegaard's in there. I reckon everyone can know Partey's in there. On the left-hand side, Trossard, Martinelli, there'll be some disagreements. In a good way, fullbacks, you know, whether you're going to put Timber at left back, Ben White's there, Lewis Skelly, Calafiori, whatever you're going to do, there's different combinations. We'll kind of differ on fullbacks, but we could agree on the nucleus. Now, if you name that strongest 11, yeah, and let's just focus on the you know, the midfield and the striker in the striking areas. Partey on paper is leaving, right? So you need to address that. So Partey out, next one in. We look on the left hand. Now let's focus on the front three. So I'd assume at this moment in time, if everyone's fit, it probably is Kai Havertz up front for most people. With Saka on the right, give or take, Trossard, Martinelli, whatever you got. I'm going to say Martinelli. My bias is showing. I'm going to say Martinelli. Now, if we're looking at how to improve this squad, clearly somebody better than Trossard or Martinelli. Saka, Don, that's better. Kai Havertz is up front. Is he the best striker in the world for Arsenal at this moment in time? Can we not improve on that? Not getting at him? Evidently, we can if we put the bread down. Kai Havertz out. Isaac in. Of course, I'm dream chasing. It's definitely not Isaac. You know, Isaac is a funny way to pronounce Sesko, in it. But yeah, I think that's just the reality, man. My lads' team smashed the top of the table team 4-2 in the cup today. Arsenal won today. It was a good day. Charlie, big up your boy, man. Did he score? Nah, he didn't, because you would have said it. Where's your boy plays? He's centre mid goalie. What is he? Unpopular opinion, we've been as good as Liverpool this season. Only rat after what a name by refs being the points difference, and we've had harder fixtures. I hear it. I disagree, though, man. You know what? Maybe in the grand scheme of things, but I just think what tips it is. Yeah, I'm not, obviously referees, all that stuff plays a part in it. But I think the fine margins, when Liverpool are presented with fine margins, 9 times out of 10, they're getting out with stuff. Because Liverpool have lost once this season. We've lost twice. And we've got a run of 50, the last 15 games we've been good, and we've lost twice. Forget rivals, because nobody rates us. We're the talking points week in, week out. But in turn, I'm talking to our family people, us Arsenal fans, right? Internally, the way we kind of talk, or I'm not like even the most balanced of us fans that are not saying everything's rubbish, but I wouldn't say we're happy in it. We're not we're not kind of happy. But we've only lost twice. You wouldn't think that based on how we speak. Now, I'm not saying that to gas us, but that is the reality. The difference is, look how many games Liverpool have won. Look how many that we've drawn. When they're presented with those fine margins, we've obviously shown occasion, like today as well. Like we weren't terrible and neither were Leicester, but a draw probably would have been the fair result. Or if we drew, we would have been unhappy, but we couldn't complain. It's what it is what it is kind of thing. We nicked it. How many times have we done that this season in the league? I would say Aston Villa early in the season where we were rubbish. Let's be real. Ollie Watkins didn't have his shooting boots on. We got it. We made it in the second half. We nicked it. We haven't really done that sometimes. Of course, throughout the season, sometimes you win and you don't deserve to win. Sometimes you lose and you don't deserve to lose. You deserve a bit more or less when you draw. But occasionally you get what's on brand, right? And I think when Liverpool are in them situations there, they're coming away with something. They weren't I think we were better than them at the Emirates. They came away with a draw. Their fans are probably vexed that they didn't beat Everton and all the refereeing stuff. They still came away with something. Sometimes we haven't always came away with stuff. I don't think they were the best team on the park against Bournemouth. They ran away with 3 points. I think Areola's boys had the better chances. I think Brentford, it could have went either way. Their subs came on, they nicked it. So I think they've controlled their controllable fine margins, if that makes sense. Are definitely a lot better than us. Whether that's down to experience that Arne Slot has over Arteta or their players over us, young and old, I don't know. But that's what I feel, man. And that's what it was about. We came into this season been knowing it's about the fine margins. It's those 3, 4, 5 games across a 38-game calendar that really and truly make or break our season. That's what's going to make the difference. And a lot of people tell me I'm harsh and that. No, it's because I want my team to get over the line. I know you can't win them all. And sometimes there's a bad day at the office, right? But you look at the last 2 years, Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, whether we should have started the game better or had to claw things back or let ourselves down. Bournemouth, we didn't turn up. Newcastle, we didn't turn up. Liverpool, I feel, the game management, because a lot of people were calling us conservative in that game. And the one time we gambled, Nunes, Salah, and Trent, I think made us pay for it. The last 3 games in the Premier League actually against Aston Villa aid the point, like being 2-0 up. It's these kind of things. It's them little draws that we need to turn into victories. Those games where we knew, like Bournemouth and Newcastle, we were terrible, we deserved to lose. But if you could have just grabbed a point, hindsight's a wonderful thing. If you just walked away and nicked a point, yeah, we were shit boys, but we nicked a point. You got more points on the board. And that's what's crippling us, man. We need to do a City like last year. I hear it. How about Calafiori midfield? Do you know what? Where Arsenal are at in this moment in time, people, everything's up for debate. I'm not necessarily against defenders playing up front, Moreno playing up there, false nines, Haylenders, Calafiori and Zinchenko and Kieran Tierney out wide or whatever have you. Champions League is possible, but if we beat Feyenoord, PSV or Milan in the round of 16, it could be Bayern or Madrid in the quarterfinals. Well, listen, let's just hope, man. Like I said, blind optimism. I've seen a couple of English teams win the Premier League when they've not necessarily had anything to scream and shout about via the league, innit? But I don't feel we got the X factor. I don't think we managed to find margins. As you said, you're going to start getting into that realm where you're playing some serious big dogs. That dream died when we sold Eddie and Smith Rowe, DG. Probably Nelson as well. I genuinely think our academy is better than United's historically. They just had Best and Busby Bays and a class of 1992. Rashford, Browning. I'm not going to say my man's last name. Calafiori as a box-to-box would be a revelation. Arteta is not utilising him well at left-back. My man said, pretender like he's a beauty. Smack that. You're crazy. DG, did you check my squad for next season? How? I'm not sure what you mean there, my boy. Ahmad out for the rest of the season. That's rotten luck. But damn, even going into the Spurs game tomorrow, United, what's going on there? You man do know Calo at Fiorentina was a Roman centre-back, carrying the ball, driving into midfield and playmaking. I don't think we'll see it, but this is what I thought. Like, could Arteta even go to a 3 at the back? And it doesn't have to on occasion because we have to play it by ear. Because then you can get you could still have Lewis Skelly and Timber or whatever have you. You could even get Ben White in the back 3. Calafiori can kind of what you see him do for Italy and what you're alluding to as well. He can drive forward and whatnot. You then can get the Odegaards and the Trossards in those little Ethans in the pockets. I don't know. Everything's got to be on the cards, man. It's crazy. Big up yourself, bro. You know what's funny? When our strength was our attack, we collapsed in the 2022-23 season because we aren't defensively stable. Now we have attackers out. We have a great defensive shape. The irony. You can't have it all in life, innit? It's mad. Havertz issues is that a man said when he was without you're moving, mad man. Like, hey, it's crazy. With MLS securing his spot as a starting left back, Callum may need to be deployed in midfield. Is what it is, man. What comment, man? DJ will see. I don't think he's going to be talking about next season's lineups. Yeah, next season's a long way away. I'm dead tired of Havertz. Him getting injured was actually a blessing in disguise. Now we have to get to see other options. Big up you, big up Mikel. I don't know for these blessings in disguise. I would have sure loved to have had people fit. I got a role for Havertz in the squad, but we need serious duns. Merino has the highest non-penalty XG of all midfielders this season. Big up the stats, man. Big up the stats. Hopefully that can correlate. DG, would you gamble on Mitoma? I'd love Mitoma at the carpet, but you didn't see Brighton in January said no to 90 million. And thank the Lord in hindsight they did, because you saw what he did to Chelsea's defenders, didn't it? You saw what he did to Chelsea's defenders. Absolutely popped them. Moreno is not a fast runner. He just needs to stay around the box up front. It's going to be funky football because of the personnel available. Nothing be consistent. Just have to win games. There you have it. Lewis Skelly playing left wing back would help us going forward a bit, and we know we need it. Arteta's going to have to. You're going to have to do the madness. You're going to have to do the madness. Hate him or love him, you have to credit Arteta for the results given the deficiencies in the squad. He's making it work and keeping us in contention. I hear that, and I think that's true. As I said, for me in the summer, and I still think it remains the same question. This is just my thoughts. I love all of that. I hear all of that. Big you up for all of that. But if I have to ask, when are you going to get over the line? I can talk about injuries, not having injuries, defending this, that, and the other. And this is the difficult question. When are you going to get over the line? Because if we put your record up in terms of fighting for the Prem or the domestic cups or international cups you've been in, you've not got over the line. And I think that's the next step. Like, I genuinely think, obviously, Arsenal's situation is not as simple as that, but that's the next step for this football club. Like, you would think Arsenal are, the way we are spoken about, and even ourselves, the way we talk about the manager or the players, and I'm not saying that everything's rosy and nobody deserves criticism, but the way the language around Arsenal, you would think we're getting relegated. You think we're doing what certain teams are doing. It's not that. But that's what makes me personally more frustrated. We ain't lost in like 15 games. We've got 2 losses this season, scored 90 goals last season, defensive record, and all of that stuff. But then it's also a bit of a lie when you're looking with your eyes. And I just want us to get over the line. I think some of the problems are deeper than just Arteta, but I definitely don't think he's without faults. And, you know, when people sit there and say he's a title-winning manager and all of this stuff, and I kind of get what they mean, but reality is you can't say you're a title-winning manager if you ain't done that. You can't say that. You can't say you're a hustler if you ain't sold nothing. What are you talking about? Like, we just got to get over the line. But then I start to look at what we're doing as a club now, like the summer window, January. Arteta signed a new deal. The owners took over in 2018. It's redundant, in my opinion, talking about the manager and the owner to a degree. Things can change. I think it's redundant. We just need to find a way to make this work within the context, because we could have got over the line last season and we shot ourselves in the foot. And that's what hurts me as well, more than anything. It's like, yeah, Liverpool deserve their plaudits. City are the big bad bullies or were for the 2 previous years. But I just look internally before I look at, oh, bloody hell, they went on a great run. We have shot ourselves on and off the field. And I think it's a big opportunity. It's been a big opportunity. Like you said, with Liverpool, right? I'm sure somebody said Liverpool might fall away next season. They might. You know, I don't think their fans are falling for it, but for the casual football fan, the fact that they're fighting for the league, people forgetting Liverpool fans have never been that cool with FSG. They have a tiny squad. They really shagged on Slot a lot, you know. Like, you've got 3 of your main key players' deals running down. The market was dead. They didn't do what they needed to do in Jan. Bearing in mind, yeah, they've gone out the FA Cup where they rotated, but they're still in 3 cups. They might. If those 3 players F off, if Onslaught or whatever, maybe next season won't be like this year, maybe. But at least if they win the league, I say if in the small hope that they can last, if they do go and win the league now, they've taken it, whatever contexts have been put to them this year, they've done it. I've seen us be the chasing pack. I've seen us lead the title for like 200 odd days. I've seen us be defensively sound. I've seen us like I think Cash said it. What we're doing in 2022-23. But unfortunately, I haven't seen anything in May. And disclaimer, I know we're Arsenal. We've never been the big bad bullies, always winning stuff. And I'm not, come on now. I do think people gaslight that. Like, I'm not sitting here and saying we have to. We're not Real Madrid. But there's been opportunities, man. And more for the players and the gaffer. Because that's what makes, beyond the obvious vanity of winning trophies, that's what makes it worth it. You've got something set in stone all the time. Like, if we were to win the Premier, think about how they would feel in May. Beyond the obvious, you've injuries, lost key players. Every minute, what are they building here? The manager shouldn't be here, blah, blah, blah. And you've won something. It makes all the pain. All the times you've probably lost faith in yourself and lost faith in the manager. There must have been times all managers lose faith in themselves. It makes it worth it. And if we flip that or extend onto that, it can't be nice. Where I look at Saka, Declan Rice, like for England in the finals twice, myth. Didn't win it. Couple times in the Prem, probably again, third time. You ever said third time, Lucky's a liar. You're going to miss it. And you don't have to sit with that feeling. It can't be nice. I do think there's a monkey on the back there with what we've seen in the last 3 years of just getting it done. Yes, we can apply contexts and whatnot, but winning and painting history, which is winning, doesn't care about context. It does not. People said we were the best team of 2024. Who won the Prem in 2024? Of course, we can, you know me, you know what I'm getting at, people. Winners win, losers explain. I agree, he has to win something soon, but a lot of people want him sacked, which is absolute, man. I think everyone's allowed their opinion, but I think you need to, I do think it's a situation that you have to look at, man. You lost the league at Goodison Park. Richie, big up yourself. I don't think Liverpool have lost the league, but if somehow they do lose the league and we're able to capitalize, I'll big you up for that. We win the league, there's going to be a public holiday around the world. I'll cry. I'll actually cry. Like, I will cry, like. We last won the league in 2004. Mikel is art. Brendan Rodgers, 800 million should account for something. Yes, Kroenke's a businessman and they made our club a cash cow, but that amount of money should be accompanied by a trophy. I don't even think it's a money thing. I hear that, but obviously we've been dwarfed by other teams. I hear that. It's just for me looking at Arteta, brother, I think you're a good gaffer, Why are we not getting over the line? Big you up for the rebuild and stuff and all of that. But every year that we have to do some explaining, it's going to continue. Whether I think he's done good or bad or good in certain moments or whatever, can you get over the line? Because Wenger got hounded out for less than that. And if I look at it, of course, you've seen sometimes where teams have been perfect they've been perfect in the league and perfect in the FA Cup or the League Cup and they've done a double. But there's also been times, man, have bagged trophies not being good throughout the season. The last couple of FA Cups, Arteta's FA Cup, we had the mare of the season. 2014, we fumbled it. The Chelsea one with Arsene Wenger, where it was Monreal, Mertesacker, and Rob Holding. We weren't that good. When Chelsea won their first Champions League under Di Matteo, they weren't that good. There's examples of it. I don't remember Leicester's season when they won the FA Cup, but you get it all when Wigan done it. They've just made it happen. I don't want to praise United. And again, I'm not saying I would swap my situations with United. They made it happen and won 2 trophies. We're at that stage. I need to make it happen. And I don't think asking us to win trophies is an unfair statement. I've heard Saka's comments. Saliba always talks around trophies. Arteta says it. Sometimes it's sideways and sometimes in obvious ways. It's about, you can't just be lazy and just talk about silverware, but it's a silverware thing now, man. Rivals will finally touch grass because we would be unbearable. But if Arsenal won the Prem, forget the Prem. Pray for Arsenal if we win. No. Pray for if we win the Champions League. I don't care because we know what they're going to do. They're going to do you've only got one. And we get one. But I will be unbearable. And nobody can talk to me if Arsenal have won the Champions League. You can't tell me anything, especially if couple men in this side win the Champions League. Kai Havertz did it again. Shameless agendas. Ethan. 17 years. Him and Lewis Skelly. They've been playing for a couple of months. They go win the Champions League. That's going down in football folklore. Forget Arsenal. Raya. Movies, especially how it started for Raya. Ben White, Timber, Kivio, uncomfortable conversations. I used to see United fans do that nonsense all the time. Just need to get over the line, man. You only won it because of the format change. Yeah, they all say you won the new one and all of that, but that's a new problem. If Arsenal won I'm mad. Arsenal winning the Champions League. I'll cry if Arsenal win the Champions League. The Champions League. Context is 100% everything. I'll cry, man. Bro, I'll start running every possible agenda. Arteta with the Champions League without a striker, man. We'll have to block. Oh, you get it? It's like, hey, even that with Havertz. With Mikel Merino playing up front. A week. Oh, my days. They don't want us to. We'll lock off the streets, the world, the internet, fans all over. Like, I've obviously not been to one, but I don't know for other countries, so you have to forgive me. But it seems like in America, they got like specialist football pubs, like specialist Arsenal pubs. They'll lock it off there as well. We deserve it. We deserve it, man. DG, the last 2 seasons, we took defeat from the jaws of victory. And that's the thing, man. Yeah. But that's sport, though. You know, it's like a man racing Usain Bolt, and yeah, you were leading the race, but Usain Bolt won. Like, even if it was neck and neck and he done it, or if I'm a heavyweight boxer or something, and throughout the fight, the other boxer's stressing me, knock me down a couple of times, but if I win, I've got the belt, I'm writing history. You know, I'm going left with this, but you know, when you hear stories around war and revolutions in this world and stuff like that, history is written by the winners. That probably weren't the narrative around the time, but history is written by that's how it's determined. You know, those that were, you know, you can't discredit Man United's 99 side. But history don't remember that, you know, Arsenal, we effed it up on about 2 occasions. We were quite close. They should have never done that treble. History just remembers turning it around in the FA Cup rounds, doing what they needed to do in the Prem. Obviously, the Champions League game. And that's where we're at the stage. We just need to make history now, man. We need to start doing, and that should be the ambition of the football club. What are we doing here? That's the ambition of everybody. That's what United want to do. Liverpool want to do. City have done and want to do. Chelsea have done. Well, all of these teams have done it. And, well, just the traditional top 5 and Spurs. This is why we didn't win the league last year. It was upsetting. I was ready to run agendas. I was finished. Please, we need some luck. Bro, that was a bitter pill to swallow because it was the last day. Like, it was, and even that, we know it wasn't wrapped. It was wrapped up long before that, but even on the last day of the season, there's some little bit of like it can happen, and it didn't. You know, there must have been. I don't actually know, but there must have. You know, it must have been a thing where the Premier League. There must have been a Premier League trophy ready at the Etihad and ready at the Emirates or wherever City won the league. We're that close. Our players probably saw them kind of bringing it in and getting the stand and everything ready. And if I can't lie, if Arteta wins the Champions League, and that's that, especially now, not the Prem, if you win the champs, I think you have to get a statue still. A man said 21 years, pent-up frustration. The trade would feel like crap. And look, we're dreaming. We know how it works, you know, typically Arsenal, this and that. But for us balanced fans, we'd be dreaming. If we win the Champions League, it's Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United saying, but you only won one, innit? Yeah, well, they can do that. But it would look scary if we start counting. Liverpool can talk with the Champions League thing. But if we win one, a couple of the clubs you mentioned, but hey, we're not that far behind. And then we can start being shameless and saying, you know what, if we done it once, we could do it again. It seems reductive talking about silverware, but we have to get something. Medals have to come now. Has to, man. You see, Ethan can be a star. Lewis Skelly can be a star. Sakari's a madman. Saliba and Gabriel, we fight that. We're not the best, but we don't get bullied no more for one. We're actually decent now, like, and that hasn't been the case during the Emirates era. Yeah, there's been some FA Cups and some half-hearted league challenges, but we're actually all right now, like. And rivals know this. I'm not saying Arsenal are the best thing since sliced bread, but they slag us off. They know we're a bloody big football club, and there's many things they'll envy, but they're not meant to like us, innit? They're meant to move the goalposts. If Spurs go and win a trophy, we're going to say it took you long enough. The game is the game, people. Obviously, winning today decreases the gap with Liverpool having a game in hand. They're on 57, we're on 53. Don't do it, DG. Don't. I was about to sell myself a dream. Big up, Mikel Merino. I was making myself laugh looking at this. Arteta said, today is the day with all the questions that have been raised with the injuries to make a statement. We are here. We really want it. I hear that because it was a tough game. We got the result, but a bit of fighting talk for no reason, really. Big up Mikel Merino. Deserves all his plaudits. And you remember in August, he said he would love to score the winning goal or be a striker. funny how life works, man. You know, he had a good cameo, really. Came on in the 69th minute, bagged in the 81st and the 87th. Shout out to Mikel Merino for that, man. He was the hero today, people. Arteta said Merino can smell the danger, he can deliver. He's not a striker, but he can do good things there. I told him this morning, you can play there, you can do it well. He's delivered. To be fair, I'm not saying Arteta didn't, say this. But who's to say this could be cap? Because I just say this because I would cap a lot if I was a manager, you know. Like if I saw one of my players score from the halfway line, I'd sit there in the press conference and say, I saw him do it in training. I had a dream he was going to do it. Like this could be cap. Mikel's not going to, well, his namesake, Mikel Merino, isn't going to come out and say no. I don't doubt it, but I'm going off on a tangent. On Merino, Arteta also said, I didn't think about that, but Mikel Merino is a goal threat because he can smell danger, anticipate the action. He's got really good timing to arrive in certain areas. That's good. We still need a striker next summer, though, man. We need more super subs like Mikel Merino, says Arteta. I thought there wasn't subs anymore. It was impactors and finishers and starters and all those sort of things. He did say, people, very tough match. The first half, especially the first 20, 25, we struggled to get in certain momentum because we did a lot of simple things very wrong. But the second half was very different. We had much more urgency, better intentions, better executions. And then you can sense the game was going in the direction that it had to go. Saying that, there's a moment we give the ball away in the middle of the park. The space is open on the counter and Miles has to make a magic touch to deny the goal. In the other end, then that's when we scored a goal. And Mikel obviously made a huge impact to score the 2 goals. He then said, we're going to have to share that. And we know that we're going to have various contexts. So Arteta is saying, listen, the Moreno thing, we might have to run it 1-2 times, but don't get any ideas. We're going to have to play it by ear. We're going to have to make a sub because a player is not performing or the opposition is doing something else or we've got a yellow card or it's fatigue. That is going to restrict what we can do in terms of personnel. But we have prepared for different scenarios. Have we as a club? I don't know. Then those scenarios have to work. Hopefully they'll work as good as Mikel worked today. Fair enough, man. Mikel Merino is funny, man. He said he forgot to get his wife a present. She would appreciate this more than a rose or some chocolate. You've never spoken to women, mate. I don't think they're gonna give a flying monkeys about your goal, mate. Like, anyways, you definitely had to, when you get back to London from Leicester, you definitely had to book something or buy something, or your missus ain't gonna let you're gonna be the doghouse, mate. Anyways, this morning we were talking about a little bit playing as a striker with one of the assistants, and honestly, it is a surprise because the first time in my career that I played that position. But yeah, he told me go striker to make sure I go with my strengths. I think I solved it today, and luckily I could help the team with the 2 goals. Fair enough. With everything that happened in the last few days, it was a lot of noise as well. We needed to show how much we wanted it. That's what happens. We're really going to go for it. We believe in the resources that we have, in the quality of our players, and we can still adapt and be very competitive and still win a lot of football matches. Fair enough. Joe Cole was saying Ethan's touches are messy. Like, I can't blame Joe Cole. The Cobham boys ain't nothing to scream and shout about, innit? See, even the ops rate us. Anywho, Arteta said we use different resources. And he's not wrong. But do you not think he's not sending shots, but it's mind games for KSC? I don't know, like, because we need more subs. If I just look at the sentence, we need more subs like Mikel Merino. He could be indirectly sending a message out to his players, but could that be like, help me? I'm being held captive. Please, I'm vexed like you lot. I don't know, people. I think the house is almost ready to move in. We just need to sort out a few things and decorate. Just my thought. Great stream as always, DG. I hear it, man. But that's the thing, man. It does feel like we're always in that place. Like next season, for me personally, I'm an Arsenal fan. If I don't see a striker, if I don't see a winger, if I don't see a central midfielder, and they have to be game changers, like changes to our 11, like they raise the level. If I don't see depth addressed in some form, me personally, I hope the fine margins, and we'll always hope for the best. But I know we haven't again put our best foot forward, and it would feel like to me that would be we're signing up for the same season again. I can criticize Arteta's methods. I think he wants to win a trophy. I think the players do, the fans do. I think the higher powers that be don't really want to do that. So the mistakes Arteta and these people make in the recruitment or the resources and that, it's harming us, isn't it? So yeah, man, I don't think so. Because for me, a team that wants to really, really, really win, and I'm talking about those above, you don't have the January you had, you don't have the summer you had. So yeah, man. It is what it is. Never thought in all my days I would see Arsenal find one of the youths that can rewrite football. Ethan, man of the match by far. Yes, my G Deluded Gooner. Appreciate you, Michael, man. What a gem we have. I have a season ticket for Arsenal and I go to away games too. I went today. We left it late. Hey, left it late. How was the feeling in the stadium? Because watching the game on TV, I did think we'd score, but I mean, when you're in the last 10 minutes, you're making me nervous now. You know what I mean? It must have been lit. I'd say the first, it must have been lit. And big up yourself, man. We got the 3 points. Big up yourself, Charlie, man. For some reason, I feel like this could be an 89 Anfield type season. Last minute madness to win the league. I'd love to see that. I mean, I'm born in 95, so I never saw the 89. The closest I'd get to that would have been, and it was such a glorious day as a hater. This is before hate alongs were a thing on YouTube. When City snatched it from United with the QPR thing in that. I'm seeing the City players, Yeah. No, I'm seeing the QPR players celebrate with City. What made it better and what made it amazing is seeing, I'm sure Man United beat Sunderland or something. You can see the players were watching the game and then it got nicked. It must be gutting to feel like that. Imagine if that is a thing and if we have a similar season to last year where it's the last day of the season, I don't know. I hope the footballing gods are right in the script of it. Arsenal got bare injuries, we're written off. People like Deluded have been, I've been talking up Liverpool. It's harder to fail than to actually. It's harder. It's incredibly hard to fail in this league challenge. We got to play them at Anfield, a ground that we did do that, a ground that obviously in recent years we don't travel well. Be a romantic story. Unfortunately, people, I think if our season was a movie, I feel once again it's going to be like Cool Runnings, where it's commendable, but the ending's kind of dead. You don't really win nothing. Like Coach Carter. And like Mighty Ducks, unfortunately, and it kills me to say it, man. I'm going to be so close, which we are, but we're so close, yet we're so far, man. It's almost poetic in a sense, man. Arteta did say we use different resources, though, man. What did you exactly say, though, Gaffer? For sure, especially in the first half. Oh, sorry, we've seen this already. What's this? The boys were buzzing for him. They were buzzing for Kai. This is about Merino. We were just talking to him because everybody was really down about it. And the team has a different way, different resources, different tools to win football matches and stay competitive. And today we needed that win, especially in the manner that it happened. I think it's going to be really helpful. On Odegaard, he said he was tremendous. I mean, everybody raised their level in the second half because the way we were playing in the first half, it wasn't going to be enough to win it in the manner that we've done it. And we knew that. We stepped up the level, and I think we deserve to win the game. We need to continue to go, taking all the great things we're doing as a team and individually, but as well recognizing as well that the level that we played in the first 20, 30 minutes is not going to be enough to have to maintain that. People call me negative. What have I been waffling about? The gaffer has said it here. What did I say at the start? It's all fun and games talking about the good stuff. We need to focus on what we're not good at to get to that level. I only go off what people say, and go off what the players and that are saying, and I only go off what I see and feel. DG, will you join the party in North London if we win the Prem or the Champs this season? You got me, yeah. What the hell? I'll record everything. It's crazy, isn't it? These two lads, these two young men are doing great stuff for this football club. Look at them, mate. Imagine that. How long ago was this? Such is life. This could have been last year, really, for Lewis Skelly and Ethan. This could have been a couple weeks ago. Life comes at you quick. And from that to this, big up you two, man. Sign new deals, along with Saka never leave. And you know what? Obviously, when Mikel Merino scored twice, Raheem Sterling talking points, not everyone's going to forget, but Lewis Skelly, I remember that because that goal would have peed me off if we conceded that because it was so. What led to that was so silly, so silly. So big up yourself, and thankfully it wasn't the case. On Ethan, Arteta said he's unbelievable when he touches the ball. Special things happen. He just made things happen. What a beautiful cross. Amen. His game by numbers against Leicester. He won 12 of his 15 duels, which I'm sure beyond the obvious, Mikel Arteta will be excited to hear that. 7 touches in the hot box, 6 out of 7 take on completed, 4 shots, 1 possession 4 times, 3 tackles, 2 shots on target, hit the woodwork twice, created 2 chances, got an assist. And with the eyes, he affected the game throughout 90 minutes, doing what he's doing. At 17 years and 331 days, Ethan is the youngest player to assist a goal for Arsenal in the Premier League since Aaron Ramsey at 17 years of age, 262 days in September 08. Against Blackburn. Got a long way to go before you go down the Arsenal folklore like Ramsey, but on the right track. Ethan has 4 GA in the Prem. Only 3 under 17 players have more in Premier League history. Wayne Rooney, Michael Owen, and Cesc Fabregas. Now, those are big names, done big things. But at 17, if you're being mentioned with them names, you're doing something right. So I'd imagine that, Ethan and Lewis Skelly are very well-rounded individuals and level-headed, and they come from good homes. There's every reason to be excited, but I think you're just gonna keep going, innit? Merino, it's nice to hear you speak. What have you said? It was crazy for me to come on the pitch in that position, trying to help the team in such a tough game. It was really, really difficult game against a good side, and the pressure was on us. But this game is about the small details sometimes, about who's more precise in the last meters. We were clinical in those last 20 minutes with me trying to make an impact in the box. Is that mind games for Kai Havertz? And with my teammates just putting in some amazing balls, we won the game, and I'm really, really happy. Merino had only scored twice for us in his 26 appearances before today. Who did you score against? Scored against Liverpool. Who else did you bag against? If that was Arsenal trivia, I'd fail the question. You scored against Liverpool this year. Who else did you bag against? I don't know. I'd fail that question, man. And yeah, we obviously heard, the manager told him in the morning, and naturally he's going to say, as you should, you play anywhere. And he's praised the young boys as well, man, as he should, man. Big him up. And you can see Calafiori's on banter. Yeah, these coaches, is that Gabriel Jesus? These coaches must be amazing. Like, footballers is calm. You got a coach where I'm sure you got TVs and PS5 and a sleeping area, and you got enough space to have a meal. Hey, being a footballer is lit, man. What else has Mikel Arteta said? We've gone over that. We've gone over that. We've gone over that. We've gone over that, but I don't know if we have. I think the game started to suit him more because they started to defend much deeper. That tells you everything. And we had more momentum, more sequences, more set pieces as well in that period. And we started to believe that he could impact the game. We were lucky that he did it. On putting pressure on Liverpool after they dropped points. I never knew Liverpool dropped points. I don't understand the reference behind putting pressure on Liverpool. I don't know what Liverpool are trying to achieve. I only know what we're trying to achieve in the league. Yes, and it was important for us as well. Okay, cool. Arteta, I was trying to do the PR job. You've gone against me there, but everything that happened in the last few days, it was a lot of noise to show how much we want it, because regardless of what happens, we're going to go for it. And we believe for the resources that we have and the quality of our players, and still adapt and be competitive and still win a lot of football matches. I'll be real, it's a blind optimism thing. It's one where you can see the reasons why Arsenal are not going to win the league, why we might think we're not going to win the league. And I'm not going to forget them, but at the end of the day, I support Arsenal. It is what it is now. Let's go, man. Let's go. We've gone over that. Big up the players for stepping up. Know what Ethan and Declan do. I think Declan did well. We have another massive chance with Declan arriving in the first half. On Sterling, everyone needs rhythm in the first half, especially in the first 20-25. We weren't at our standards. And when that happens, you look to the front players. Fair enough. Apparently, on Lewis Skelly said, to be fair, on the bench, I didn't know whether he touched it or not, or was it a deflection from a cross. When I watched it back in the dressing room, it was amazing because it was one of the moments that could change the game and probably the result. On Ethan, what he's showing, basically, that's him. Obviously, his age is something that puts a question mark on how we have to deal with him. But every time that he's given us, he's always let me go, let me go, let me go. When a player is giving you all the signs, you shouldn't stop it. And you have to play with that freedom, that creativity, that confidence that he's playing with at the minute. And the players around him are believing in him. So let him go, because he's a massive threat, massive talent, and he deserves to play. And he's got momentum, wind in his sails, bit between his teeth. I think there are a few in the first half as well. Every time he's on the ball, he made things happen. You could see that he had another level of threat and the rest of the team. And he continued with that in the second half with 2 great actions. And after that, he puts the ball on a plate for Mikel to score the header. Can't disagree with any of that. Nonetheless, let's start closing things as well, people. It just looks a bit prettier. Side note, as you can see, it was a low-key affair. We had 5 shots on target. There were 7 in the game. We had 11 shots in total. 7 corners. We didn't score from a corner. It's a bit weird. And a vital last 10 minutes. In terms of player ratings, David Raya didn't really have much to do. Not even 6. Not to say he was bad, but you just did what you needed to do. 6. I think Timber was good today, I'm going to give Timber a 7. I'm going to give Lewis Skelly a 7. I'm going to give Gabriel and Saliba 7s. Partey. I think you had some moments where you really played well and others where you were quite wasteful. I'll give you a 6. Odegaard, I'll give you a 7. I think he was on course for a 6, but I think you upped it in the second half. Declan Rice, I'll give you an 8. I think you was really good as well, if I'm honest. Ethan, I'll give you 10 out of 10. Nothing more I could demand from you. Trossard, I'll give you an 8. I think you did okay. Bonus point for the assist. Merino, 10 out of 10, by the way. You did what you needed to do up front, innit? Can't ask anything more from you. Sterling. I do think it's a 5, but one of them ones where it's a very underwhelming 5. But I don't think he was terrible. It's just the same old stuff with Sterling, and we're at where we're at. Tini, 5, but you weren't really on the pitch long enough. Jorginho, I'll give you a calm 6. Moreno, 10 out of 10. Calafiori, I'll give you a 7. I'm sure you were involved in one of Moreno's goals indirectly. It would have been nice. Come on, Gaff. We had 5 stars. It would have been nice to see, Nathan come off the bench, but it is what it is, man. We've gone over the Moreno stuff. We're 15 games unbeaten, people, in a row. That's our longest streak since 2011 under Wenger. And it's sad because when you see these stats and we just don't get anything with it. I'm bored of the rumours, people. Nonetheless, apparently TBR Football understands Nico Williams would like to sign for Barcelona after Arsenal and Liverpool made contact with his camp. Reports will have you believe we're going to sign him. That's cool. Throw your hat in that ring. Make sure you get a next one in, people. So, yeah, apparently, according to this Graham Bailey, Nico Williams wants to move to Barcelona. You'd imagine the Arsenals, the Liverpools, the Newcastles, the Aston Villas, and the Chelseas are all going to be there. Some would say his season after a blistering, Euros has kind of been dead. But you'd imagine he's on the move, people. He can smell danger. Is Merino Arsenal's striker solution? I get it. He's not, but mind games with that. Apparently, we're looking at Rodrigo Mora. Did I not speak about him yesterday? Very talented 18-year-old, 17, 18-year-old at Porto. You need big money. A bit like the João Neves stuff at Benfica. 17. Big money. Quality. Porto bring through some good players. Obviously, you'd imagine we're keeping progress of what Fabio Vieira is doing. So he could be someone that naturally we're linked with. It's going to cost big money. We've been linked with Feyenoord's Paxal. Apparently Spurs and Arsenal are looking at the 24-year-old. Did he not bag? You bagged it last week or something? I'm sure he did. Arsenal allegedly are considering 2 big money name strikers in the summer. Really? 2 big strikers, a winger, centre mid, and anything else, really. Maybe we go back for Ollie Watkins. He bagged for Aston Villa today as well, so he's put his name in lights. Isaac will look to force a move from Newcastle this summer if they fail to qualify for the champs. Barcelona are interested but can't afford him, while Arsenal and PSG are in the mix. We're going to keep getting linked with the same guys, man. Apparently, Isaac is keen on a summer switch to Liverpool, if you believe that. Arsenal are ready to pay around 100 million euros to sign Sesko from Leipzig this summer. Surely it's not going to take that much. TBR Football is saying Man United, Arsenal, Villa, and Newcastle are all interested in Osimhen this summer. Mikel Merino now has back-to-back hat-tricks in his last 2 games in Liga. Striker being a hot debate. I wonder what was going to be the case when he did that. And big up Smith Rowe for bagging, and get well soon, Reece Nelson. Shy Welby. It's been a good day for Arsenal and a good day for Halen. Hopefully Liverpool bottle it tomorrow. I can't imagine they lose to Wolves, but we'll be there together watching that. And then it's a game where I wish both teams could lose at a push. I'd rather Man United beat Spurs. 2 teams in the mud. Both teams chasing 40 points. It'd be nice if both could lose. But yeah, smashed. All right, fams on TV. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're following them people. Make sure you're checking out Trench Talks, Baller Talks, and the rest of it. Sterling is washed up, unfortunately. You could say that, but I don't think Sterling was horrible. There's evident frustrations. Couldn't stay on side, taking a piss, but I don't think you was effing crap and did it. I think you are poor at the moment, but I don't think you were dead for the 90 minutes. Part A6 generous. But this is the great thing about football, man. We all see it differently. 2 more GA and he ties Michael Owen for GA under 18s in the PL. I just hope Ethan can look back and have a career like the minute. I know there's that talk around, like I've seen it online. People are saying Ethan is better than Cesc Fabregas at this age. I disagree with that. But these are good conversations to have, man. You're doing all right. Big up Deluded Gooner. Bless up, brother. Right back at you, Gooner, man. And big up the chat room. When Liverpool lose 4 games and we clear up on better standards in the Prem near the end, I believe we can. I can't believe it, but I'm going to back it, man. Deluded, can you do a job at left wing? You're telling me you'll play me in a position that I can't play and I don't have to track back? I would love to play left wing. As a Sunday League fullback, I hate... Toby, you're a very good footballer. Bobby Dazzler, you've got me so many assists. The fake assists as well, where I've passed you the ball and you've danced past 10 players. But you are a fucking shit teammate. Very shit. You don't defend. At fullback, at wingers don't want to track back. You know when they're listening and they're airing it? Horrible individuals, man. And they get all the glory as well. I got overlap, underlap, all these things. They could be crap for 90 minutes. I could clear shots off the line, but everyone rushes to them if they score. Ethan is an unreal talent. They're telling me Dolman is even better and possible. Listen, we're cooking. Everyone just tranquilo. For real, the script is amazing. The script is amazing if we could do it, but the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately, man. It's sold separately. Pick up yourself. Didn't Saka start at left back? I wonder where MLS will play next season. You'd imagine you get plenty of game time at left back. I don't know. Maybe he's even changed the club's thinking. Obviously, we can sit here and say who can be sold, who can. I said auxiliary left winger. I hear it. Like Tierney, I hear it. I wonder if Lewis Skelly's emergence has altered the club's thinking. Now we need depth, and we need to arguably some players need to leave, but you could argue we need to build on the numbers we've got. But if the club ever thought about, we like Tommy, but the man can't stay fit. Zinni's not, we don't rate Zinni like that, but we need him to be here. We don't mind letting Zinni go. Kivio needs to cut. Timber can play there. Calafiori can play there. Lewis Skelly can play there. Maybe they've changed the thinking in that. Maybe he gets a chance in midfield. You'd imagine Partey and Jorginho leave, and you could sign 2 midfielders, whether that's a 10 or an 8. But if Jorginho and Partey leave and Zubamendi comes in, there is a gap there for Lewis Skelly. Probably have to change the dynamics. Naturally, Declan Rice would have to continue being an 8 more on the right-hand side. I do think Lewis Skelly will play less games at this moment in time if he's recognised as an out-and-out centre mid. But it's good problems, man. And as I said at the start, man, having players that can actually, like Lewis Skelly can play as a midfielder, play as a fullback. Ethan can perform in a number of roles. The only role we ain't seen is him up front. Could be all right, man. I said it before. I think Ethan's our own Lewis Skelly, our own Phil Foden in a sense. Obviously, he's his own man, and I'm pretty sure Ethan would back his mum if certain things went left. And I've seen Ethan do it when it matters. Foden don't really. It's all right though. It's all right. DG, what is the player that you will want for Arsenal that most people don't know? I don't know. There's not really players that are not known. I'd say I can never pronounce his name. And we're not going to get him in midfield. He used to play for Bayern Munich. He's at Stuttgart. Is it Stella? Angelo Stella? I can't pronounce his name. Him at the top of my head, man. MLS is different from Saka. He'll still play left back, maybe 8 in cups. He's playing for Arsenal, man, and it's another Haaland success story, man. So there'll be no complaints. I mean, with that being said, we've almost been in for 2 hours. Time's flies, man. Pardon me, I'm sure you lot are bored of hearing my voice. Big up you lot. Appreciate it all the time. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you're doing that. Smash the like button and all that good stuff. I'm back tomorrow to do the 2 watch-alongs with you lot. If you want my more condensed thoughts in relation to Arsenal versus Leicester today, then the reaction stream's out there. So, yeah, God bless you all. Big up yourselves, man. Enjoy your Saturday. Come on, you Gunners. One love.
Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
Always